So, Greg, I mean, I'm not sure if I need to tell you this, but some of your shirts are kind of crappy. I mean, you know,
What do you mean by crappy? They got a sweet little pocket right here.
I mean, they
That's
could be better. I mean, there's a place I know where it has lots of cool stuff. Uh,
yeah, but how cool?
we're talking about AAA cool. We're talking about shirts from 86.com. They're a pretty cool site. They sell all types of merchandise, including t-shirts, keychains, and other cool stuff that they sell on their site. And also have awesome video game material as well, such as Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, Guilty Gear, Skullgirls, BlazBlue, Smite, and 86's own brand of t-shirts as well as other stuff. Recently they put out some new keychains for Street Fighter 5. So yeah, there's some awesome stuff there. So I'm just suggesting, next time you go out and buy a shirt of any kind, I suggest check out 86.com. And if you want to support us and them at the same time, please use this link in your web browser to check out 86.com. Put in www.86.com !AFF equals 4. Again, www.86.com !AFF equals 4. This link will tell them that we sent you and that we're cool with them as long as you're cool with us. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Scott and Gene yelling each other's names.
Scott! Gene! Scott!
Gene!
Scott!
Gene!
Scott!
Gene!
Scott!
Gene? Gene!
And Jean Grey's X-gasms. Is it weird that this is kind of turning me on? X-Men, better than the movies.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rollin' 20s. We are the crew that is so fat we order Galactus size on our Happy Meals. I am Jeremy.
Steve. And Jesse.
Remember,
And
you can
Casey.
subscribe. Remember, you can subscribe to this show and several others in the MSP library at missionstarpodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and on Tumblr. Follow us on Twitter at the Rolling 20s. You can send us any fan mail, suggestions for the show, or hate mail at mspfreight@yahoo.com. The music you heard at the beginning of the show is by Machina Supremacy. You can find more of their discography for free download at machinasupremacy.com, as well as their latest couple of albums on amazon.com. The clip you heard is by Screen Junkies. It's our honest trailers based on X-Men, the animated series. You can find more of their videos on youtube.com under their channel of Screen Junkies. You've heard an extra voice in there possibly, and that is because we've asked to sit in. This is Casey. Say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
You know what? It's been a day, but it's okay. It's been a decent day. I spent a little while abusing my my Amazon Prime account and checking out Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Tom Cruise likes to run a lot.
A lot, and especially if there's explosions behind him. He's very concerned about those.
Those movies have always been kind of laughable to me, not because he's not trying, but it always seems like there's always a motorcycle when you need it.
Yeah, that's Tom Cruise's superpower, is running from explosions and motorcycles when needed.
Yeah. How's everything else going?
Doing good. I spent most of the day actually marathoning an old 80s show called Moonlighting. There's a day well spent.
Oh, dear God, why?
Because Moonlighting is awesome.
I know, but you get to see the world's biggest penis before wrinkles developed on his forehead.
Oh, poor Bruce Willis. He had great hair in this show.
Well, I wonder what drew it all out. Was it Demi Moore, or was it Ashton Kutcher afterwards?
I think is really just, Bruce Willis is just so masculine that his hair escaped him.
Sorry, but you're not going to have as many Bruce Willis is so tough jokes as you will Chuck Norris, and I think that's a given.
Sadly.
Jesse, you were late. What happened?
I was on my way back from my nephew's first birthday party in Modesto.
Oh, so how many
I thought
adults...
you meant he was pregnant. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Wow, man. Okay, apparently Steve's not as Christian as I thought. So... I mean, geez, Jesse, how many adults self-aggrandize around this poor 1-year-old?
I lost count.
Because birthday parties are never meant for kids who are below the age of 2.
Yeah, no, I just like go there. There's like parties, like, and there's lots of people there, lots of alcohol, and me just like, yeah, I'm gonna go to my phone.
That sounds about right.
So you know it's a party when the kid is the first one to get the whiskey.
Okay.
Things I would have avoided entirely, except, well, my mother, she wants us to be a family.
I know, and she sunk that grappler into you Titanfall 2 style and just dragged you 3 houses away. I know.
Yeah.
Steve, what about you?
I'm finally getting over whatever the hell Jesse managed to give everybody.
Oh, you're getting over that herpes. That's good to hear.
You can't get over herpes.
Sure you can. They have wonderful medication nowadays.
Yeah, and then it comes back. And
Yeah.
then it comes back. No.
So do colds, but, we get over those too.
Yeah, but that's not the same cold.
You don't know that for sure. Maybe it's just sitting deep inside your body waiting to gurgle up, just like herpes.
No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way.
No, it definitely doesn't work that way.
I don't know. I think Galacta would disagree, but that's a whole different issue. What else have you been doing?
Playing video games. I've been sinking a lot of my time into Final Fantasy 15.
No, you still haven't finished it yet?
No, I you know me in video games. I look for all the secrets and everything else. So yeah, I'm still in like chapter 7.
Man, I don't know. There are people that climbed Everest faster than you finish video games.
But they're not exploring every nook and cranny of Mount Everest. They're just going
This
straight
is
to
true.
the top.
This is true. They're just going straight to the top. There's
Yeah, but they also
goal.
camp out for days at the Midlands where it's utter hell.
No, he's camping out too.
Camping in Final Fantasy 15, believe me.
Yeah, we do the same thing, except all we do is watch you fish for 6 hours.
No. He was playing a pinball machine for 6 hours.
Yeah, no, the pinball machine took 6 hours. The fishing, I don't think I've ever managed to fish for 6 hours. I'm almost to rank 10 though.
See, this is the first sign of an addict: denial.
I have never had a problem saying that I'm addicted to video games.
Just that. The subject of this week is Civil War II, issues 1 through 8 by Marvel Comics. We'll get to that after we get through the news of the week. First up is Marvel Media News, where we talk about the Marvel properties that are coming to TV screens, movie screens, tablet screens, and a whole bunch of other media, everything except the comic book pages. And the first story is actually a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 story. And there isn't a whole lot of news about the movie, which of course is coming out in 4 short months now.
Oh wow, really? Is it that close?
If I remember correctly, it is May 4th, 2018 that the movie appears.
Oh wow. I feel better about myself.
And the story is actually via The Hollywood Reporter because they sat down with Kieran Gillen. She plays Nebula in the movies.
Right.
She's also the lady that is famous for revealing that she shaved her head for the first go-around. I think this time they gave her a skull cap for once.
I'm very pleased that they're allowing Nebula to have survived the first film.
Well, apparently she's going to be doing a lot more than that, because according to the quote she gave The Hollywood Reporter, Gillen said, quote, "I'm so excited for the people to see it. I just feel like it's all the best elements of the first one just amplified. It's even better. It's funnier. The music's better. The second album is a blender. It's great. And in the first one, everyone was being established. Now that's out of the way, and you really get to delve into all their dilemmas and things like that. I think family would really be the main theme of the thing, and my character Nebula is dealing with a whole lot of stuff there. We see a whole new side to her, a much more human side, actually, where we truly understand how awful and difficult her daddy issues are," unquote.
Are we thinking a redemption story? I love redemption stories.
Well, according to early stories, there would be 3 new additions to the Guardians in this film: Mantis, Yondu the Archer, and Nebula herself.
What I saw of Mantis, I was really excited about. That scene where she was exposing their secret feelings just to have Drax completely out them is hilarious to me.
Yes.
That scene, as far as I know, is the only one the public has seen yet. That that particular scene wasn't even the preview footage I saw at Comic-Con this past year.
Oh, wow.
Gillen also referred to a possible appearance of Nebula in the Infinity War film.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, she said that she would be showing a, quote, a whole new side, and she will be, quote-unquote, cheeky.
Really now?
Yes, quote, yeah, she's making a cheeky appearance there. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but I'm pretty happy with how much she gets to do, unquote.
What is really big for me, and this is just my fanboy side going, is I really, really, really hope Captain Marvel does an early appearance in this film.
I'm sure that Carol Danvers will appear. I'm not sure Captain Marvel will.
Well,
I am very positive that Brie Larson is going to be involved in Infinity War, but as far as superpowered, I don't know, because they keep saying that the big coming out debut for Carol Danvers will be the Captain Marvel film. So, judged by that phrasing, I'm going to assume that a non-powered version will be the first appearance.
And I'm totally cool with that, because I love Carol. You know, superpowers or not, as long as I get to see her up on the screen, I'm going to be a pleased person.
Well, Casey, are you up on the news last count as to how many Marvel characters were appearing in Infinity War?
I heard a rumor that they were just throwing everything in there, just like crazy style.
Well, we had the story, several months ago that was by the Russo brothers, the directors themselves. Last count, the number of Marvel characters appearing in this film was 67.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So there is room for a Carol Danvers to appear there.
Yeah. I would say so. I think there's room for the X-Men to slip in there.
I wish. But fortunately, somebody who is involved in the film and was recently reintroduced to the Marvel Universe cinematically was Spider-Man.
Yes.
And the next story doesn't have to do with Spider-Man. It has to do with Spider-Man's problem. Michael Keaton sat down with Entertainment Weekly to talk about his role as Adrian Toomes, the Vulture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He told Entertainment Weekly, quote, the character actually has more relevance, unquote. He compared the Vulture to his portrayal of McDonald's founder Ray Kroc in The Founder.
Well, that's a strange comparison.
Quote, there's more here. Quote, I know there's this issue that comes up about how timely the Founder is in terms of where we are now in the country. My character actually is, if not more relevant, and I'm not going to say more than that. There's a B story to this guy that's really kind of interesting and really relevant. I would be lying if I said that's why I took it, but as we talked about it and did, I went, whoa, there's some layers to this guy. Director John Watts is a very bright guy, and he wanted to bring this issue out. A lot of people are going to like him more than they probably want to, would be my guess, unquote.
I think it's rather interesting that Michael Keaton seems to keep to the flying animals as far as his superhero and supervillain appearances.
Yeah, but from what we've seen of the costume design of the Vulture, he'll at least be able to turn his neck.
This is quite true. Maybe a drastic improvement over his Birdman appearance.
He also talked a little bit. Actually, he invoked his role as Batman while he talked in this interview. He went on to say, quote, we have a fight in the movie, and I punch him, and he turns around and says, I'm Batman.
Oh,
he kept doing Batman quotes on set, unquote.
This pleases me.
Which means Tom Holland is a little damn punk.
It also means that he went, wow, I'm meeting Batman.
I don't think this kid really even remembers that. I mean, Batman films predated the child, by years.
I know, but Tom Holland has shown himself to be one hell of a nerd in his private life.
And we salute all nerds, so I will support his nerddom and his role as Spider-Man, because so far, as I've seen it, Tom Holland is the best Peter Parker.
Well, we know he has a background in gymnastics, so he and Tights already have a good relationship.
Yeah, and he has some special credentials for being a nerd that he managed to get berated by Stan Lee himself.
True. Oh,
yeah. The next story is actually about another nerd playing another superhero.
Oh, let's hear it.
Mike Coulter got to elaborate a bit more on his role as Luke Cage for the Defenders.
Okay.
I'm interested. You have my attention.
Okay. He also talked to Entertainment Weekly. He said, quote, it's safe to say Cage is not going to spend the entire season of Defenders behind bars.
Duh. I think that's pretty safe.
Yeah, I was hoping so.
He's been able to come clean and deal with his past. The difficulty with Cage is that he has this secret. He has this thing he's been trying to run away from and deal with, and that's a big burden to bear. That weighs on you. That changes who you are as a person. Now that's out of the way, I think we can give him a different approach to life, unquote.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, that would have a huge impact, not having to be so worried.
Well, I mean, Cage's role in the Netflix series so far has been unique, because he's the only one that has acted in the open thus far. The others have all acted very much in secret.
True. Now, me being the old school nerd, because my first reading of comics was 70s comics. I picked up crap loads of old comics from like old antique shows when I lived up in Ohio. So I got exposed to a lot of Power Man and Iron Fist. And okay. I know I'm not alone in wanting as many Power Man and Iron Fist moments as I possibly can get out of this show.
Oh, you want to hear some more about his role? Because he had a lot more to say.
Okay. Oh, please.
Quote, I'm the guy, the wisdom. If you want to make sure something works, run it up the flagpole. Luke is someone who's, in a very mature way, compartmentalized his life, unquote. And then he goes on to talk about the member of the team he's supposed to have the best relationship with, at least as far as comic books go, the Iron Fist, Danny Rand, played by Finn Jones.
Neat.
Quote, he's a young guy. There's an exuberance that Iron Fist comes with that Luke Cage wants to temper a bit. It can't help but have a wisdom versus youth quality. Danny comes out like a bull in a china shop in some ways, and I think Luke has seen the world and knows certain things. It's a cool combination that'll work out, unquote.
I'm looking forward to it.
The imagery he gives me by that description, I almost have a bull in a china shop vision. I just see Luke Cage standing in the middle of this cutlery shop, and there's Danny Rand jumping around, throwing kicks, making wah sounds, and all he can do is stare.
Like, really? We're doing this here? Okay.
Yeah. And don't forget, in less than 2 months, we get our first look at Finn Jones as Iron Fist.
I know.
March 17th.
It's coming up so fast.
I know. And there's a lot more entertainment coming between now and then.
You know, I'm actually really proud of this particular moment. I was actually sitting on Facebook when a question and answer session with Marvel Online went online, and they had the guy that plays Luke Cage on, and he was taking questions, and some video questions were being thrown at him. And towards the end of it, without him even knowing it, the guy that plays Iron Fist popped up for a video question. And it turned out that was actually the first time that both the actors had even met. Oh. First time face-to-face, and I got to see it there. I got to nerd out and watch them just kind of go, oh, man, this is going to be so cool. We're going to be hanging out Defenders, blah, blah, blah. It was, yeah, I like it.
Was Coulter as weirdly energetic during that as he was during his appearance at L.A. Comic-Con?
He was. He was
at L.A. Comic-Con, he needed like a downer or something. He needs to smoke more weed in his life.
I think he was just excited to be where he was. He was talking about stuff he obviously loved, and when good old Iron Fist popped up, he had a nerd moment the same as I did.
Okay. Well, the next story actually has to deal with the television arm of Marvel, because a director has been landed for the IMAX series pilot of The Inhumans.
Oh?
You did not know that this is turned into a TV show now?
I heard that it got turned to a TV show, but I had no idea about the creative elements behind it.
Okay, well, what we know about the IMAX, or the Inhuman series so far, is that the first 2 episodes are supposed to be filmed in IMAX. They will be played on IMAX screens, as well as an eventual home version. After that, the rest of the series will be played on ABC. And this is supposed to run concurrently with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So It's all supposed to exist in the same universe. But they have just landed the director for the pilot episodes, the IMAX episodes.
What is it with this?
They have picked feature film director Roel Rain. Roel Rain is kind of an interesting choice because even though he's known for very cinematic and artsy projects, I don't know that he's taken on anything like The Inhumans before. His best-known projects are The Director, and Admiral, and he's also directed several episodes of the Starz series Black Sails.
I'm meaning to check that series out.
Black Sails, I enjoy the hell out of it. For a show that's basically a prequel to Treasure Island, it's much better than that. If I had to give you a short description, imagine it as Sons of Anarchy for pirates.
Huh. I wonder if Inhumans, the show Inhumans, is taking the slot that was left vacant by their canceled attempt Most Wanted.
Possibly. I know that they still talk occasionally that a movie is possible, but nobody seems to be very definitive about it. And from what I understand, the Inhumans series is going to focus on the most well-known Inhumans, the royal family.
Oh, okay, good.
However, it has occurred to me recently that such a TV series also lends itself to possibly debut other characters fit for TV, like the younger Inhumans from the Uncanny series, or even Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
I've seen Miss Marvel.
I wouldn't mind seeing Miss Marvel either. That'd be cool.
You two realize it just sounded incredibly pedophilic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You just had to make it weird, didn't you?
Make it weird? I'm listening to you two drool, and it's really freaking weird.
I'm just... I like the concept of Miss Marvel. I like what she's done to the industry. I like what impact that she's had towards younger readers. I'm really excited for the character to get the limelight.
See, this is where I get to poke. Did you see that I took a selfie with G. Willow Wilson?
I was
no,
there.
I didn't see that.
I saw the picture taken.
It is up on Facebook. It's up on the Mission Star Podcast Instagram. I got to stand there towering over G. Willow Wilson. She's not a tall lady.
You're making me type.
It was so funny, too, because it was like the first... I think it was the second panel we saw the entire weekend at Comic-Con, yep. And she was talking to a bunch of other Miss Marvel fans. She took like pictures with a bunch of cosplayers, and there I am at the end. Do you mind if I take a selfie with you? And she looks back and forth a couple times because she has to hurry away, and at the same time she's looking up at me like, aren't you kind of old for this?
Well, I really like the fact that they even made Kamala Khan to begin with, and I remember when I was working at my job, I'd have a lot of parents come up to me because they knew obviously I was a comic nerd. And it's like, so what kind of comics?
No,
no. And they're like, what kind of comics can I get to get my kids started? And I was like, well, right off the bat, Miss Marvel, tops. You gotta dig into that, and it's. If you go to Amazon, you'll find that Miss Marvel is probably still, I haven't checked recently, the #1 trade paperback selling on Amazon.
I don't know about that. I know globally it doesn't rate #1, but I don't know about Amazon particularly. I just know I'm coming into that weird phase where my first child is turning into a preteen. And my wife tells me she started reading comics because of friends of hers, so I recently asked her, hey, do you want to borrow my graphic novels to read? And she says, what do you got? I got Miss Marvel? No. I got A-Force? No. I've got some X-Men? No. I have All New Wolverine. Do you mean Logan or the new one? Congratulations. Very good. Very good.
Very good. Very good. And I also want to point out the fact that All New Wolverine is an exceptional title, and if you aren't reading it, you really need to.
Well, the next story actually is another multimedia story, but it's a different one. It turns out that the Marvel animated films that have come out prior are being released on a new streaming service called Tubi TV. Tubi TV. It is a free streaming service. It currently has Ultimate Avengers, Ultimate Avengers 2, Planet Hulk, Doctor Strange, Invincible Iron Man, and Thor: Tales of Asgard. These are joining other select content from Comic-Con HQ, including Mark Hamill's Pop Culture Quest and Kings of Con, as well as other non-comic book related videos. So that is a free streaming service. You want to check out some old Marvel animation, that's where you do it.
I wonder what happened to the old anime Marvel stuff.
Those are primarily owned by anime companies, and something tells me that Marvel doesn't want to get involved in bringing those stateside in a wide form just because it would be confusing.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that.
I find them occasionally on Netflix and Hulu, and I watch them there, but I really don't expect a DVD release, ever.
I don't know. I mean, I think they could make it here. Especially Blade.
Well, Blade is a whole different issue in the Marvel Cinematic because Wesley Snipes would like to do it again, but it's Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Blade would have aged horribly for a vampire.
Oh, I don't know. Wesley's doing okay for being in his 50s, and don't get me wrong. I like my boy Wesley, but he definitely showed his ass during the publicizing of Blade Trinity.
Yeah, he might be the only guy that would beat Robert Downey Jr. to retirement at this point in that, if he entered it.
Yeah, I think Marvel would probably be wise looking for a younger actor if they want to turn that into a new franchise.
Now, it's no secret because I put it on Facebook a couple days ago that there is a casting call that's been put out by 20th Century Fox because they want to finally cast the New Mutants movie they're working on.
Yeah,
I was super excited about that.
You know, they are casting for 4 characters currently, although I assume there's going to be more. I think they're just looking for the first wave of them. They are looking for a character that they use the placeholder name of Chris, a male of 17 years old. Actor must be an adult or emancipated minor, and they're looking for somebody who can play a tall, corn-fed Kentucky kid.
Oh, that sounds like Cannonball.
Yeah, that screams Cannonball.
Really? I thought that was Professor X.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, well, sorry.
Another character they're looking for, placeholder name is Anna, a female of 17 years old. They're looking for someone who can play Russian, sexy, with an obvious mean streak.
Right, really.
Yeah, not obvious at all.
Would you like to name it for people who don't know, because every show is someone's first show?
That would likely be Magic.
Yes, Colossus's younger sister.
Rasputin.
Oh, I can't believe I blanked out on that.
If you said younger daughter, oh my god, dude. That throws everything I know into question.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, but...
what happens in Smolensk stays in Smolensk.
That would be nice if they actually made the connection between her and Colossus very obvious in the movie.
Why, would she be embarrassed eating cereal too?
I mean, okay, let's talk about Nightcrawler, all right? And
let's move on before we get into some weird racist stuff. The next actor they're looking for a character they call Rob, male, 16 years old, Brazilian, cool, confident, and extremely handsome.
Oh, no idea who this is.
That's my boy.
That's what I expect from you, Steve.
Yeah.
Roberta DaCosta, Sunspots.
Yep.
Yeah, the current Citizen 5.
Citizen 5?
You didn't? That's the new codename he's taken on now that he leads the U.S. Avengers.
Oh, really? I hate that.
Yep, that is him now.
I really hate that.
And the last one they are currently casting for is they're looking for a female. They call it Jessica, 16 years old, British, punk rock shorn, red hair, waif-like.
Yes.
That would be my guess.
Except in the comics she is Scottish.
Very Scottish.
Or Irish.
And, no, she's Scottish.
Okay. Scottish.
Yeah. Rain Sinclair is definitely a Scot.
But according to the website that broke this casting news, that hashtag show, they said that there's also another character that's anticipated to be in the film but isn't being cast yet, Danielle Moonstar.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, known in the comics originally as Mirage before she took no name whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, she's pulling a Jean Grey these days. She's pretty much just Danielle Moonstar, or Danny Moonstar.
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense since Mirage is over and gone. She hasn't regained her power since M-Day, and now she's just an Asgardian Valkyrie. Long story.
Very long story.
And the early preview reviews, and I say preview because I have not seen the full film, have come out regarding the Logan movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what the early reviewers are saying so far is that this may be the best X-Men movie ever made.
Ah,
really?
That fills my heart with joy.
Yeah,
I honestly don't think it's got a lot of competition.
Well, Catherine Trendacosta wrote about it for IO9. She listed several things that happen here. Obviously, Laura is what's supposed to be X-23 in the comics, or the current Wolverine, as some people know her. Mm-hmm. Wolverine is old and broken down. It appears most mutants have died off. It's not quite apocalyptic wasteland because Logan's current job is as a limo driver.
Yeah, and in the trailer, they walk into a convenience store, so it's not complete wastelands, Fallout.
Right. So as much as people have been looking to draw a comparison of this film to Old Man Logan, it appears that there really won't be much of a correlation between the movie and the comic books of any sort. And
they're making their own story?
Pretty much, thank goodness.
Okay
Donald Pierce became aware of Logan because he took some injuries but healed very quickly. But at the same time, Logan was not his primary target. He is looking for the girl.
That kind of makes sense a bit, yeah.
Logan gets involved in this because he is hired by the girl's mother, who dies not long after he sees her, to take this girl and I think to take her to North Dakota. Right now, Wolverine is in Mexico.
Huh, okay. Well, that's definitely a journey.
Yeah. The movie has been called dark and depressing, but is also one of the most fantastic X-Men films that she's ever seen. She describes Boyd Holbrook's Pierce as having a drawing sarcasm and a dickish grin. Daphne Keane is amazing, according to her, as Laura/X-23 for a child actor who doesn't get to do much speaking. But she's been told that she did do a lot of her own stunts.
Right.
She describes the girl.
Gymnast.
She's a gymnast, yeah. She describes the girl as steely, weird, and still somehow a child.
Yeah, the second Red Band trailer that really featured her and made it very clear that, hey, we're talking about X-23, here's your claws, be afraid. I really got a good impression of her. She seems perfect for the role.
Yeah, 20th Century, the movie itself has been framed as an R-rated movie in its build-up to a March 3rd release, but according to James Mangold, who I believe is the director of the film, things are not quite set in stone. He told Fandango, quote, "We haven't gotten through the ratings board yet. What you've seen might be the unrated version." That's a good question that we'll have to uncover. It's uncomfortable to talk about ratings only to the degree that we're not supposed to talk about ratings. Not because we're clearly making a hard film, but because we're not supposed to say what the rating should be, since that's the job of the MPAA, and we don't want to make them angry, unquote.
It sounds like he's dancing around the subject. It's very clear to me that they want a hard R.
It's what they're looking for. I don't know if it's what they'll get. And the trailer was widely released. Because there was a prior Red Band trailer, I decided to go and seek out the current one. So I've got that for you guys to view.
Okay.
Here we go. I sent the video. Lot of red.
Yep. A lot of red. My favorite kind of banner trailer.
Free goals.
Yep. Becoming a young superhero, the first skill you need is shoplifting.
And an energy drink. Crap, she's wired.
Hello. You know you gotta pay for that, right?
You're gonna pay for that hair, buddy, yeah.
Hey. Come on.
Oh. That's for the tips.
Not okay.
That's right, get those cigars.
Yeah, he needs to deal with the stress right now.
At least movie Wolverine still smokes cigars.
We got ourselves an X-Men fan. Maybe a quarter of it happened.
I like how he's reading her comic. She's the one looking up like, "Don't judge me."
In the real world, people die.
Ouch.
Logan. I don't want to talk about it. Logan, just stop.
It's really weird to watch him stroke his claws on screen.
Claws out.
I need the girl.
Hey there, Donald.
Hello.
I like to call him Cyborg Draco.
Oh, yeah.
Now you just gave me the idea that Wolverine's going to kill the Donald, and I got a big smile on my face.
Hey, look at the guy with the gun arm. That's nice.
Yep.
No.
Fear my puberty.
No.
You look gross coming out.
Ooh. What about her doing a double flip and landing on that poor guy's shoulders?
The Reaper's got it coming.
Oh, you don't need that.
He's not going to wipe his ass anytime soon with that hand.
Quite sharp.
There's no guarantee those are bone. She might be the finished product.
Whatever it is you think I am. She needs our help.
She might actually have metallic claws.
Someone has come along.
March 3rd.
Yeah.
This is what life looks like.
Go ahead, hit me with it.
People who love each other. A home.
This is one of those interesting things where Wolverine gets to meet himself in this movie.
Feel it.
Oh, I really hope that Professor X survives this, even though it's unlikely.
Yeah, I'm convinced he's going to die.
Yeah, me too.
That last scene where guys are holding guns on him, I mean, shoot.
And there's scenes of him not there when they're driving.
On the road, only one meal and hardly any sleep. She's 11, I'm fucking 90.
That was one thing I forgot to talk about in the synopsis of the film. Apparently, Professor X's powers have not diminished, but he is barely cognitive, and the reason why Logan is taking a job as a limo driver is to earn money because he needs medication. Without the medication, he suffers from these seizures, and his powers go nuts during these periods.
I wonder why that must have explained why he's got some hair on his head.
Well, that would definitely explain those weird shimmering effects that you saw 2 or 3 times in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Those are his psychic powers going nuts.
You know, earlier when we saw the first trailer, I was kind of afraid that the the actress playing Laurel, wasn't able to keep up with Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, and I think that those fears have been bad away.
You keep up with her? Keep up with them in what? You make it sound like Laura's going to grab a cigar and start puffing here.
Keep up with their acting.
Oh. The only thing that bothers me is it's pretty obvious that she's going to be monosyllabic during this movie. She may say the occasional word, but sentences are not going to come. It's not bad because that's the way that the character started in the comic. She was very much not a talker, but that works very well in a comic book medium. In movies, it can be a little grating.
I don't know. I mean...
And it's interesting to note that DC has their own version of this very type of character. Cassandra Cain, the second Batgirl.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now we have DC Media News. This is where we talk about the other major company and their multimedia properties coming to all kinds of media soon, except for the comic book page. And movement has finally been made on the Shazam film. Okay. They have hired a writer to actually write the script for the movie.
Okay, and that's an improvement.
It is, considering the only thing we've known thus far is that Dwayne Johnson is very much going to play Black Adam, but that's the only detail we've had for almost a year now.
Really? Been that long? Dang. I am still excited for that, though.
Well, according to what's been found out, the writer to Earth to Echo has taken over. His name is Henry Gayden. The found footage film from 2014 is his first big break as a screenwriter. I don't have many other details on his curriculum vitae right now. This is the movie that's going to involve Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson making his formal appearance in the DC Cinematic Universe. But this actually segues into another piece of news that came out this week.
Oh.
Black Adam is getting a spin-off movie.
I saw that. I didn't know how much, not relevance, but how much weight to really give that rumor.
Well, I would give it a fair amount because the story broke from Deadline, and Deadline is usually pretty good as far as official news concepts. The report is still unconfirmed, but the report came out approximately a week after Dwayne Johnson had a very heavily publicized meeting with DC Films co-head Jeff Johns and a few other execs at the Burbank offices.
Yeah, and our good Mr. Johnson definitely banks in any.
Well, he was the highest grossing actor of all of last year. His average film seems to draw in at least $550 million.
Yeah.
So if he's coming, it's almost guaranteed money, at least right now. The Shazam film is still scheduled for release sometime in 2019. No firm date has been given yet. I actually am concerned about that because it seems almost inevitable that the Flash film is going to have to be delayed. They still don't have... They're on their third director, or have they hired a director yet?
I haven't seen any Flash information in a long time.
Well, I'm asking simply because we've run through stories where they've lost at least 2 directors due to creative differences for the movie.
Right.
Oh.
And if I remember correctly, it's scheduled to come out March of 2018.
That's unlikely as hell.
You know, and then we had the story from, 3 weeks ago where a former producer in the DC Cinematic Films said that there is no backup plan in case things go wrong. They've set up this very tight schedule without any idea what to do if something has to be moved.
Right. Which takes on new relevance in light of this.
Well, especially since the Justice League film is due out in 2 months here, and Wonder Woman is due out in a couple months. The Justice League, I think, is due out in July or November. I want to say July.
I thought it got moved behind... No, that's right. The Batman...
Right, the Justice League is in July, which means The Flash is the next major release that DC has as far as single films.
Did you also hear this little bit of news from the AV Club? Real-life speedster Usain Bolt wants to be in the Flash movie.
I heard about it. I didn't know how much credence to give it. But at this point, is he talking about boxing Ezra Miller for the role? Because Ezra's already been in a couple projects.
I'm not really sure they've really pinned it down, but apparently it happened in an interview with MTV.
Okay.
I think he'd make a great cameo.
It would make a great cameo. I just wouldn't want to see him starring in the movie all of a sudden.
Oh,
oh my God, they killed him and Wally West is taking over. This is amazing.
Let's bank on hopefully Usain Bolt's ability to carry at least 2 lines. I think he'll be fine.
Okay. Well, there's another trailer that I have here for you guys. This one is for the DC property Injustice. The sequel, Injustice 2, is being released, I believe, May 16th of this year. Hey, my birthday.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I won't get. Yeah. But other people are interested in it, so I can't dismiss it. And I have the trailer. It has the subtitle of "The Lines Are Redrawn."
All right.
I sent the video. May contain inappropriate
content for children. Excellent. Good start.
Savior.
Wonder Woman's bondage dungeon.
Oh my.
Guardian.
Oh, they finally fixed his mask.
Vigilante.
Was it bad in the first one?
The
It
preservation
was
of
awful.
life. So often, the
That
justification.
Lenny didn't look real. No.
Well, it is made by the people who did Mortal Kombat, and I don't trust how they do physics to begin with.
Too close. And the so-called hero, condoning the very
Man, Batman watches some weird S&M stuff.
Condemn.
Batman is
Batman's
S&M
S&M.
stuff.
No, he's clad in leather.
Transgressions of the past. Shape actions to come.
Galactus has come.
Wrong universe.
As offspring
I know.
turns into adversary.
Oh,
And here we have Damian Wayne.
I hate that
He
little
could just be
prick.
punching out Jason Todd.
Yesterday's loss
Nah, it's Damian.
Nobody likes you!
leads to madness.
Oh, looks like we're having a recap of what happened with Lois.
A little bit. I'm sure they're trying to show off why these characters have
And God
pathos for a
becomes
sequel.
tyrant.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
what I
one way
heard.
to scratch a Joker's back.
Becomes dust. As factions dissolve
Society.
and form,
Bane,
and lust for power enslaves all.
Poison Ivy.
They're laying out clues, possibly
Such
Solomon Grundy in
folly and
that.
futility
Yeah.
from the grand design.
Cat fight!
Our lives
Cat fight!
are clearly defined.
Yeah, I don't want to be a witness to this.
From what I understand, Supergirl shows up here under the influence of Darkseid.
Oh, that's fun.
Perhaps it is time for them to be.
And we have Brainiac.
redrawn.
Yep. Injustice 2.
Who
Oh,
was that guy supposed to be at the end?
that was Brainiac.
Brainiac.
Really?
And, scratch that. Okay, Supergirl is under the influence of Brainiac, not Darkseid. My bad.
Okay. And look, this is what you get for pre-order. Darkseid.
Oh, shoot.
Complete with bad complexion.
That Ultimate Edition is probably going to be like, what, $100?
I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
that
no
seems
news
to be
regarding
lately.
that. Other new playable characters include Supergirl, Harley Quinn, and Deadshot. And there was a little subtext I noticed at the bottom of the video. On January 24th, they are releasing gameplay footage.
Oh.
That'll be more gameplay footage, because I know they released some last year involving...
Well, this is a new game, though.
No, this is the same thing. I saw footage involving the Red Lantern Atrocitus in this.
Hmm. Have you guys seen the images that have come out for Teen Titans: The Judas Contract?
No, but I remember the Judas Contract from when I was a kid.
A new animated adaptation is coming out. This is based on the classic DC comic story by Marv Wolfman, including the Titans' most infamous traitor, Terra. This story is actually due out late 2017. There's no firm date as of yet. I'll send you guys a link to the website. There's only 2 images. One appears to be a team or semi-team shot, and the other one is of the villain of the story, Deathstroke the Terminator. The first to join the cast was Miguel Ferrer, whose character has not been named, who unfortunately did just pass away this past week.
Yeah.
Let me see, Miguel O'Hara... he did play Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, who is named after Ferrer. Ferrer was joined by Christina Ricci. Her character is also unknown.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had a mean crush on Christina Ricci.
if I had to guess, I would say Miguel Ferrer probably played Deathstroke. If you know his voice, that is right up his alley.
Mm. Yeah.
Because goodness knows, you're not going to ask a guy who's 61 years old to play Beast Boy.
No way.
Christina Ricci is probably either Starfire or Terra.
I think Terra.
I think
more than
Terra
like
as well.
Yeah, the roles that she's taken these days has definitely been of a very rebellious type. And
well, not only that, if you consider any potential follow-ups to this animated film, if they use more of the characters, I don't think they'll be able to afford Ricci on the long term. So yes, I expect her to be the traitorous character.
Yeah, right now she's on a series about Zelda Fitzgerald, if I'm not mistaken, for, is it TNT?
Zelda Fitzgerald, the jazz singer?
The wife of F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Okay.
A miniseries that's coming out called Z. Let me see if I can gather information on it while we're talking. The beginning of everything. Yes, she'll start as Zelda Fitzgerald, and this will be on. Okay. It's going to be for Amazon.
Okay. Maybe I'll see it. It depends if I run out of Netflix stuff between now and then. The following story is also a DC cinematic. Well, not DC cinematic. It is a DC media story. It has to do with a separate universe from the DC cinematic universe. The producer of the TV show Gotham is teasing an appearance towards the end of Season 3. This particular producer, what's his name here? John Steffens. He told TV Guide, quote, "We might see an episode 22, unquote. Episode 22 is the final episode in the third season, which I think is currently running its second half right now.
Yeah, they just started up.
Okay. The character he's specifically referring to is Dr. Harleen Quinzel.
Oh, yeah. I actually read that little bit of news myself. I hope that happens.
Let me specify. He was talking specifically about Harley Quinn, who he's alluded to in the past, is already appeared in Gotham, though maybe not as Harley Quinn. It's no guarantee that it's Harley Quinzel. They may be segueing the role onto the character of Barbara Keene in the show, who is already a batshit crazy blonde in the series.
Yeah, you know what? They really were kind of building up her personality to make it seem like that. I was kind of wondering where they were going with that.
I honestly gave up the beginning of Season 3 on the show. I have not watched it since the first episode. There has also been a little bit of potential for the proto-Joker in the series, Jerome Valeska, to reappear.
Yeah, there's actually been some images that the actor himself has actually put up on, Twitter, where it shows him in Joker makeup and stitch scars all over his skull.
Yeah, I've seen this actor before. He only has one other regular gig that I know of in the Showtime series Shameless. And I will say, Jesse, the guy who played Jerome Valeska is like the only thing I've really enjoyed in this series so far. He started out a little bit campy, but somewhere around his second or third appearance on the show, he really found the depth of his character and started playing it to the hilt. He was doing really well.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people were really disappointed when they were led to believe that he was not really the Joker, and he was really just like the inspiration for somebody else to be the Joker, because he really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. And last up in DC media news, the TV show Lucifer, based on a Vertigo property, which is a DC subsidiary.
Yeah.
It's getting a former star of Gallivant to play a role in the show.
Oh.
His name is Timothy Ummanson. He's also been on Psych. He was one who played King Richard in Gallivant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's playing God.
It's a bit on the nose.
Promotion.
Well, give me a sec here, because I have to elaborate. He is playing God Johnson.
Okay.
No, he is not playing the almighty penis. He is playing a man that is known as God Johnson, a psychiatric patient who believes he is the God. And as the show has demonstrated before, sometimes people who claim they are something on the show turn out to be exactly what they're claiming.
I think it's time for some wine.
It also should be known that sometimes heavenly spirits in this show can take over the bodies of the recently deceased to walk the earth. So, not only have they announced that this character is coming, they've also laid out the framework of, is he or isn't he?
That's very Dogma.
So the episode is titled God Johnson. It will air in May after the Fox show's hiatus. It's going to begin after the January 30 episode. There is no word, unfortunately, on whether or not Mr. Odmondson will sing during this show.
I think Lucifer has gotten a little off track. I really enjoyed it in the pilot. I enjoyed his level of insidiousness and his mischievousness, like when he terrified that bully child by showing her his real eyes. That was great. I really thought that was going to be the tone for the rest of the show, and it lost it.
Unfortunately, the show has one problem, in my opinion, and that is its pacing. It goes through its story of the week arc like most shows do, but its overarching stories that it keeps showing get pushed down and delayed or just kind of submerged for long periods of seasons.
Yeah, it's disappointing because I would actually love a show about a mischievous immortal that liked to punish the guilty, but it just doesn't seem like that's what we're dealing with here.
Well, we can try American Gods soon.
Oh, yes. I saw the trailer for that, and I was really interested in that.
Well, now we have general media stories. This is where we talk about nerdy properties that are not Marvel or DC related. And there is a show that is, I guess you could say, returning to NBC.
Returning?
Steve? Yes? The Witchblade is coming back to NBC.
Oh. Really?
Yes, they have not asked Yancy Butler to reprise her role. NBC is developing a new live-action Witchblade series, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Executive producers on the show are Mark Silvestri, the creator of The Witchblade, and his longtime business partner, Matt Hawkins. The original show ran on an NBC subsidiary, TNT, from 2000 to 2002. A standalone feature film was announced in 2009, but has never been moved past the conceptual phase. They've already hired CSI producer Carol Mendelsohn and the Vampire Diaries showrunner Caroline Dries to adapt the comic book to a new live-action format. So they are very definitively moving forward. And to strike this home to Jesse, the person who developed the look of the Witchblade is a now deceased artist named Michael Turner.
Sorry,
all right.
The Witchblade has never really been something I've been excited about, so I had nothing to say about it.
I was there in the beginning of that series. I saw that character debut in Image Comics. And Sarah Pizzini in the comic books is gone. There's a new Witchblade running around. So, this has my attention. However, given what the prior series did, it's kind of hard to hold out absolute hope. The TNT series was hard on me.
I'd never even give it a chance.
No. I mean, Witchblade itself was an uninteresting property for me. As much as I really enjoyed Turner's work and other things, his other stuff, his creator-owned stuff like Witchblade and Fathom, really never rang with me.
Well, I have another property that Hollywood has taken a shot at. And this is one of those things that's going to create a lot of consternation among a certain segment of fans. Okay. Because Warner Brothers has decided that they're going to adapt an anime for a live-action film.
Oh, boy. Which one?
Is this the whole Battle Angel Alita that we've been waiting on for years?
No, that's a Fox property, and that actually seems to be moving forward with Robert Rodriguez. This is a whole different thing. According to Deadline, Warner Brothers is currently in talks for the rights to Hajime Isayaba's Attack on Titan franchise.
Pass.
Oh.
They want to have gigantic naked people running around eating small people.
That was a hard pass for you, huh?
I didn't care for the anime, so no, I don't care.
I've watched a couple episodes of the anime. It's not my thing, but it's still a very popular series.
I watched the anime, and the concept of people being eaten is really horrifying for me. Mm-hmm. So while Attack on Titan, it was a hard watch. You know, the horror was very real for me, I guess just because I have that peculiarity. I heard that the Japanese live-action movie was not well received.
Actually, there's been 2 live-action films from Japan that have not been well received.
Oh, really?
Yes. There was the movie, there was its sequel, neither of which have exactly burned up the critical charts. So I guess you could say that Warner Bros. Taking a shot at it is limited risk. I mean, even if it's awful, all you can say is, well, they tried too.
So I wonder if the Titans are all going to have, like, Speedos or something, or just be sexless like Ken.
Or they could all be like the Warner Brothers version of The Watchmen and have a whole set of prosthetic penises ready to go.
Wow.
No.
It's possible.
Hey, Robert, what's your job? I'm animating Dr. Manhattan's penis.
I'm pretty sure no one ever admitted to that as a job. Hey, what are you doing? I'm sweeping the shit that Dr. Manhattan left around the stage. That's all I did, I swear to God.
Somebody had to animate that penis. Somebody's got to own up for it.
Supposedly, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them producer David Heyman is already attached to the project.
Oh, that was a good film.
Yeah, but something tells me you didn't have to animate penises on the Fantastic Beasts.
No, you didn't, thankfully.
Probably not even buttholes on those things. Another trailer has been released to the new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film. I am trying really hard to reserve judgment on this movie, but they are working really hard to make sure I'm not going to spend my $13.
Well, you know, it's Power Rangers. There's a certain level of nostalgia with the Power Rangers.
I understand that. I have nostalgia for the Power Rangers, even though I'm not a fan of the Power Rangers. There's something about it that's goofy and funny. However, Mighty Morphin Power Guyvers, as they've displayed them here, do not have my attention as much as you'd think.
I like Guyver. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're about to find out what I'm talking about, because this one actually has them morphing up.
Okay.
I sent the video.
This is
straight into it.
Yeah.
It's a little preamble to the trailer. Here we go. March 24th. Why is it that Angel Grove sign looked fake?
Yeah.
We're all screw-ups.
I'm glad they admitted
somehow
we're all screw-ups. They admit it right before the movie starts. We're all screw-ups. This is going to suck.
At the same time, when Billy found those coins.
They riff tracks themselves.
Guys, check out how we glow.
Stop peeing in the water.
Where's green? I gotta have green.
I am. No, you're not.
So, everybody's starting out as Spider-Man and or Wolverine in this film, I see.
Yeah, they're trying to make
bathrooms.
this it's a superhero film, obviously, now.
Here's the infamous Heisenberg. Bryan Cranston is Zordon.
Did I just hear you say we're Power Rangers?
Is this some kind of joke? We're talking to a wall.
I was kind of expecting a little more.
There's Alpha 5.
Nope, that doesn't work for me.
So where were you last night?
Me and 4 kids found a spaceship buried underground. I'm pretty sure I'm a superhero.
Cool. Pee in that cup.
God damn, Mom, you have my drug testing kit ready to go?
You must become those warriors. It's just a hologram, like a video game.
That's a strong-ass hologram.
Not a video game.
You have lost the game.
You were born for this.
What was that kick he threw on top of that train? That looked painful for some reason.
That was a sick roundhouse kick. That's definitely a...
It's like what the lightsaber kid would do.
On a moving train.
That's a Rex Kwon Do move right there.
Gymkhana. Here we go, morphing up. This is what they look like now.
Did he say morphin' time?
He did.
I think so.
Oh, God, no.
Yep, there's a good look at the Zords and Goldar.
This is your destiny.
That is Amy Adams, if I'm not mistaken.
I hope not. I hope she has better things to do with her time.
No,
Elizabeth Banks is playing Rita Repulsa.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay, and there is the Megazord. I'm gonna have to give this a hard pass.
I'm not interested anymore.
It looks like stupid fun, and stupid fun might be what's in order during the March movies.
No, stupid fun is what you get from watching an episode of Mystery Science Theater. That looks like teeth grating. That looks like a reason to see your dentist because you've just ruined half your molars.
Well,
I try to be positive, but you know,
to modernize everything, but they're still keeping the '90s feel of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's hard.
It's Power Rangers. I mean...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for each Ranger in that movie to open up their chest and fire their mega beams.
Hey, man. Leave my Guyver alone.
I wish they'd leave my Guyver alone.
I reserve judgment.
Okay. Well, how about some Star Trek news?
All right.
Okay.
Production on Star Trek Discovery has been supposedly supposed to begin next week.
Yeah, right.
That's according to a CBS statement given to The Hollywood Reporter. They said, quote, "We love the cast, the scripts, and we are excited about the world and that the producers have created. This is an ambitious project. We will be flexible on a launch date if it's best for the show." Oh, God, that's a bad sign.
Yep.
We said from the beginning that it's more important to do this right than do it fast. There's also added flexibility presenting on CBS All Access, which isn't beholden to seasonal premieres or launch windows, unquote. And you also have to pay $9.99 for.
Yeah, who's the showrunner, though?
I haven't heard of a new showrunner since the last one quit. I think was that Brian Fuller?
That was Brian Fuller.
Okay. Apparently Discovery has been delayed again. After being announced to debut this month, the series was pushed back to a May premiere.
Yeah. I saw that coming.
But CBS also announced that James Frain is going to join the cast of Star Trek Discovery as Sarek, the father of Spock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sarek was originally portrayed by actor Mark Lennard in the original series, and then by Ben Cross for the 2009 film series. So, God, they really missed the boat on this series. They should have worked hard to have this out by the time the Star Trek 50th anniversary happened.
CBS and Paramount, whoever you want to blame, completely dropped the ball on Star Trek's 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. I mean, they made a movie, but they were going to make that movie regardless of where the anniversary fell.
Even Star Trek Online didn't do anything during that time.
Well, that's a whole different company, though.
But they're influenced by the holder, which is CBS.
I know, but I would put that more on the game company because they're the ones who should have asked CBS, can we do an anniversary project?
Yeah.
However, there is a little bit of good news regarding Star Trek. Finally, the lawsuit between Paramount and Star Trek Axanar has been settled.
So are we going to get to see Axanar?
We are, but there are caveats, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah? What are those?
I mean, well, it's been no secret that this particular fan project was so heavily based in Star Trek mythos, if not an actual story, that it had an uphill battle to even get by on fair use clauses. The parties have recently come to an agreement. Axanar Productions and Alec Peters, the man behind the Axanar films, will acknowledge that Axanar and its prequel, Prelude to Axanar, were not approved by Paramount or CBS, and that both works cross boundaries acceptable to CBS and Paramount relating to copyright law. What that means is that Peters will be able to release Axanar, but only as 2 15-minute segments that can be put on YouTube, but cannot use ads. So they basically made an agreement that there's no way to monetize the movie, correct?
Well, I mean, that's fair usage.
Unfortunately, though, this also means that the version of Axanar we're all going to see will not be released. Will not be the version that Peters intended to release. The agreement requires substantial changes that Axanar has to hold to. So, I don't quite know what the original vision of the film is going to be, but at least we finally get to see this stupid thing. I've seen previews of it at a few different cons, and it looks in-depth for a fan project.
I haven't actually had a chance to look at that, but, I mean, the buzz on it has been pretty good.
Yeah, Star Trek Axanar is based on a mention from the original series, wherein in the original series there's made mention of a Battle of Axanar, but that's the only time you ever hear about it. And then Peters managed to come up with an entire storyline, and he created the story behind the Battle of Axanar. He actually added to the mythos.
Oh, okay.
Stan Lee has been widely known to have created a number of things over his years, and I'm not just talking about his creations in the 60s that basically birthed Marvel Comics. I'm talking about all the stuff he's done afterwards. One of those afterwards projects is going to come to light. Back in 2015, the British broadcaster Sky commissioned a new superhero crime show that Stan Lee created. It's called Lucky Man. The first season of the show has come and gone in the UK, and now it's coming stateside, in addition to an incoming second season of the show. Lucky Man follows London cop Harry Clayton, played by James Nesbitt, after he comes into possession of a mystical artifact that grants him luck-altering abilities.
I have not heard of this.
Yeah. According to a statement by Lee, quote, "Luck has always been a fascinating subject to me, and I'm thrilled to finally share that fascination and the story of Harry Clayton with audiences in the U.S. and Canada. I feel like the luckiest man in the world. Excelsior!" Unquote.
Yeah, it sounds like Stan Lee, all right.
The series is actually available for purchase right now through iTunes.
I might give that a look. If not, just out of respect for our good Sir Stan.
I have curiosities. I will probably check out a couple episodes just to see if I like it.
Yeah.
But there's another TV show coming, and it's... Wow, this is not a phrase I ever expected to use.
Oh?
How many of us watched a lot of movies in the 90s? I know I did.
I did.
Yeah, yeah. I was a kid. Go figure.
Okay. Sorry. There's a company that's trying to buy the rights to a 1992 film and bring it to television. And it's about virtual reality.
Lawnmower Man?
Yes.
I haven't seen that.
The original film was starring Jeff Fahey about a mentally... what's the right word?
Let's say challenged.
That's good. Mentally challenged lawnmower who was experimented on by one of his clients who just happened to be a scientist in virtual reality. And somehow giving him a combination of drugs and therapy and VR gave this man enhanced intelligence and psychokinetic abilities. Including
when we
telepathy,
say lawnmower,
telekinesis, and possibly pyrokinesis.
When we say lawnmower, obviously we're talking about the gentleman pushing the lawnmower, not so much.
No, I'm talking about an actual John Deere Ryder mower. He put that in the VR machine.
Okay.
Hey, I gotta have my fun somewhere. But I know VR tech has come a long way since 1992. I don't quite know what to make about a TV show based on this concept. It would have to be changed heavily to make it work.
Wouldn't this be their second attempt at this?
I don't know about a TV show. I know there have been 2 sequels to the Lawnmower Man film, but Jeff Fahey did not come back for it. The role was played by Matt Frewer after that.
Matt Frewer?
Yes. Frewer. He was Max Headroom.
Oh, wow, yeah. He also was in an 80s hospital comedy called ER. No, not ER. It was Dr. Doctor. Thank you.
The thing, I know he's done a ton of stuff, but the thing I know most people will grab onto the easiest would be he was in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation as a supposed time-traveling historian.
Yeah. Spoilers.
It was 1991. Screw yourself and your spoilers. All right, now we have Marvel comic news. This is where we talk about the Marvel properties that are on or coming to the comic book pages in the very near future. Marvel has promoted a new president of Marvel Entertainment.
Oh?
Yeah, Marvel Comics publisher Dan Buckley has been promoted to the role. Buckley's been a publisher at Marvel Comics since 2003. He's now going to oversee all of Marvel's various divisions, ranging from publishing to animation to games to global brand management, television, digital efforts. This is very likely because the formal head of Marvel Entertainment was Ike Perlmutter, the Marvel CEO who recently took a job in the current presidential administration.
Yeah, I really wish that guy would just pack up and leave.
Now, Ike Perlmutter, or actually his name is Isaac Perlmutter, is still involved in Marvel Comics as the CEO, but apparently Marvel Entertainment's head right now is Dan Buckley. Buckley will continue to report to the CEO.
Well, let's hope it fixes that little problem that they were having on the upper echelons of Marvel, where the people in TV were not seeing eye to eye with the people in movies.
I doubt that'll happen because while Buckley's in charge, there is still a council of people in charge of Marvel TV, and that was half the reason why Kevin Feige nearly quit Marvel movies, was because he had to answer to a number of people before he was allowed to make a decision.
Well, I heard our good friend Isaac was actually the biggest problem.
He is noted to be one of the biggest. He is one of the people that didn't understand or didn't think anybody would want to see a Black Widow film.
What a tool.
Yeah. He just couldn't see the appeal behind it for some reason.
Oh, gee. I'm not even going to go there. We've got other stuff to look at.
Okay. Well, how about this? The current event going on in Marvel right now, Monsters Unleashed.
Yawn.
That is where a number of Marvel's giant monsters are just, for unknown reasons, rampaging across the world. This is going to spawn an ongoing series, as it turns out.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, there will be an ongoing Monsters Unleashed series following the adventures of the kid who is causing these monsters to be summoned. Kid Kaiju is what they call him. He has the ability that any monster he imagines and draws in his sketchbook will be summoned to him. That includes Fing Fang Foom.
Well, I know that particular event was alluded to in the final pages of Civil War 8, which we'll obviously get to a little bit later here. I just didn't know what scale they were going to take that to.
I believe it has its own miniseries. It will have a number of tie-in issues through some major Marvel books. It's not something that personally interests me, but it is something that's going on right now and creating a new comic. According to the solicit for the number 1, it's being written by Colin Bunn. The pencils are going to be done by David Baldion. The cover will be done by Art Adams.
Ooh, that's sweet. He's definitely the right guy for that.
And, Bunn is no slouch when it comes to writing. He did prior issues of Deadpool and Uncanny X-Men. The series is going to center around Kid Kaiju and some of the monsters that follow him most faithfully, including Aegis, Slizik, Scrag, and Makara. But now they're teaming up with another character who's becoming better known in Marvel Comics due to some recent appearances.
Groot?
Elsa Bloodstone is following him.
Oh, okay.
Elsa Bloodstone is the latest in a family of monster hunters in Marvel Comics. So I imagine
Also
if she's following them, it's unknown whether or not she's trying to help or just murder them.
Well, I will take this moment.
This kid can summon my fee.
I will take this moment to point out that Elsa Bloodstone also starred in a fantastic book called Next Wave that didn't get quite as much attention as it really should have.
I'm still waiting for the sequel.
Well, the sequel's often been talked about, and I know they would like to. I know the creators of Next Wave would like to get back to it, but it's a matter as to whether or not Marvel will greenlight it.
True. I enjoyed their Civil War cover. It had nothing to do with Civil War 1, which had the captain in the back with a sign that said that Mark Millar licks goats.
Yeah. I always wondered if that was a callback to Wayne's World, frankly. But another classic Marvel property is getting a modern redo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, The Crew is coming back.
The Skrull Kill Crew?
No, The Crew. Okay. The original Crew was back in the 70s. It was a number of characters from the Harlem district of Marvel who came together to deal with things, and as you can imagine, it was a bunch of ethnic heroes. Did not sell terribly well at the time.
Wow,
well,
you actually managed to pick a book that predates me.
I didn't pick it because the reason why I bring this up is because Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing it, the current writer of the Black Panther and World of Wakanda books.
Oh, okay.
He's taking on a third book, and the title of this series is Black Panther and the Crew. This will be set in modern Harlem, and it's the Black Panther with some of his best and most closely associated friends right now. The cast of Black Panther and the Crew is the Black Panther, Storm, Luke Cage, Misty Knight, and Manifold. He's writing this with one of his collaborators on World of Wakanda, Yona Harvey. John Cassidy is illustrated cover. Butch Geist contributed some character designs, but there is no confirmed artist for the series as of yet. Actually, I do have some of the character design pages here, or at least one of them.
All right.
And you'll find that they're trying to go for a more streetwise version of the 5 characters in this series.
It kind of makes sense considering the setup.
The setting of Harlem. Well, Misty Knight looks a bit like the lady who played it in the Defenders series. However, if that's the Black Panther, he looks like Malcolm X.
Yes.
Who's the lady next to him?
Storm?
That's Storm.
Oh, is that? Okay.
That's his ex-wife, yes.
Awkward.
Manifold looks like he's going to have a number of different looks in this.
Again, looks like he fits in. Oh, God, I can't believe I just said that.
He looks like he's trying to save his youth club from a horrible developer in Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
He does look like at least one of the castmates of the Warriors.
Yes. But these are character design sheets. We still don't know who is doing the art on the series yet. The original crew was set in the fictional city of Little Mogadishu, which sounds about as racist as you can get.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah.
The Free Comic Book Day titles for Marvel have been revealed. It is Guardians of the Galaxy, which is based on... Well, I should say it's the new Guardians of the Galaxy series, being written by Brian Michael Bendis, which has a cast very reminiscent of the new film.
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Gone are Angela, Kitty Pryde, and The Thing, and Venom. It's back down to the 5 that are now the most well-known Guardians of the Galaxy. The book is scheduled to come out as part of Free Comic Book Day on May 6, 2017. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is scheduled to come out May 5th, 2017.
I wonder if they'll have their... Well...
Have their what?
Their ship back.
Their ship definitely blew up. Yeah.
I think they are going to have the ship back because apparently the first issue of the regular series is going to involve the Guardians doing what they do best. A heist.
Well, that's cool. I'll enjoy that.
And last up in Marvel comic news, before Jeff Lemire leaves the Old Man Logan series currently running, he's going to finish up with an homage series. He's going to be... Well, Jeff Lemire's been on this series since it began, and that was 20-plus issues ago. According to IGN, in April's Old Man Logan 21 is going to kick off a 4-part, twice-monthly arc with Lemire and artist Eric Nguyen, putting James Howlett through time travel. He gets, as Old Man Logan, remember, this is the Logan from Alternative Future where he killed the X-Men. Old Man Logan gets you time travel through some of the most notorious moments of the current universe's Logan's lifetime.
Huh. Okay. Where is he getting time travel device from?
From any X-Men that's ever lived.
Beast comes to mind.
Old Man Logan 21 through 24 means that this James Howlett, he's going to relive the early days in the late 1800s. It's seen his origin, his first appearance in the Incredible Hulk facing off against the Green Goliath and the Wendigo, his time with the X-Men, and several other points in Logan's history. According to Jeff Lemire, quote, "Everyone loves Wolverine versus Hulk. For me, I needed to find ways in all these stories to honor the original story, but also do something new with it without altering Marvel history. That was a bit tricky, but I think I managed to pull it off," unquote.
I do believe that some of the stories definitely need some updating. Maybe this will be their opportunity to do that.
I don't know about updating. I mean, geez, his first appearance when he was versus the Hulk, that's back when Wolverine wasn't a mutant.
Right, when he had whiskers on his costume face.
When he had whiskers on his... And that's back when they conceptualized the character as just having clawed gloves, not actual claws.
That's what I'm talking about. Something like that obviously needs some kind of an update, you know, to fit with the modern times. I mean, they've done it before with X-Men. They retold the origins of the X-Men so much so they even gave them like cool new costumes for back then. So I'm fully cool with that.
So this is where they changed the origin, and James Howlett was bitten by a radioactive Wolverine.
Oh God! That would make Sabretooth really old.
Oh, anything they do
so that changes all the adventures. So Wolverine's running across rooftops, Sabretooth's chasing him in his wheelchair.
Poor Sabretooth. Sabretooth, that's a solo book.
Well, Sabretooth was the guy who started out as a pirate in Marvel Comics.
He did. He
was an Iron Fist enemy.
They said, "Sabretooth, I know you. You'll smuggle anything." I'm like, all right.
So, he's a Fire Island pirate, is he?
He's a freebooter. Yeah, Sabretooth. That's what I think of when I think of stealing shit.
Thankfully...
I kind of was wondering where he was packing all that shit that he's supposedly smuggling.
Oh,
we do know he has a penchant for furs.
He did, and as a matter of fact, in that very frame that they were talking about how much of a cool freebooter he was stroking his own fur.
Wow, I need an adult. We'll move on to DC comic news. We'll talk about the other major publisher and their characters and storylines coming to Comics Now and in the near future. A Vertigo editor has stepped down. DC and Vertigo editor Ellie Pyle has stepped down from the company to lead a new comics initiative by Riot Games.
Huh, really?
Yes. She released a statement on Twitter on Saturday that said, quote, "Today was my last day at DC Comics. I've accepted the senior editor role for a new comics team at Riot Games, home of League of Legends. I've had the opportunity to work on excellent books at Vertigo, including Unfollow, Lucifer, and Ever After, all currently on sale, but I am very excited about this new venture. Thank you to everyone I've had the honor to work with for the past 2 years, and as one of my personal comic book heroes says, onward," unquote.
So, yet DC/Vertigo loses yet another female creator from their team.
We've been talking about that on and off, how it seems like a number of creators, especially females and a couple minorities, seem to be jumping ship. We'd like to know if something's happening here.
Yeah. From what I understand, there's something obviously internal that might not exactly support... Okay, actually, you know what? I'm just talking rumors at this point, and this is me just talking rumors. From what I understand, the environment over at DC and Vertigo has not exactly been friendly to our female creators.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to John Romita Jr. in December, and he talked about how much fun he was having at DC, but, you know, obviously what he sees is not the only thing that happens there. So, I don't have any hard information. I can tell you that Ellie Pyle, she does not come with no credentials. She graduated from the Savannah College of Art and Design in 2008. She joined comic books in 2010 as an associate editor at Marvel Comics. She was there for 4 years. Then in 2014, she was hired by DC as the full editor for the Vertigo imprint. She was the lady in charge.
Yeah, I mean, if she left for her own volition, if she found greener pastures, I say more power to her. If she was pushed out because of a poisonous landscape that she was working in, then that kind of sucks.
Well, she's now heading a new comic book arm at Riot Games, and I think it's safe to say, given the nature of e-gaming, Riot Games is not going to be hard up on money anytime soon.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Actually, there's some other news here that a serious bragging point for hardcore DC fans is about to get lowered, because something else in DC is about to get raised. Over 15 titles in the Rebirth line are being bumped up from $2.99 per issue to $3.99 per issue beginning in April.
Going against the very thing they said they would never do.
Yeah, and they attribute the rise to the addition of digital codes, which will allow DC fans to get a free complimentary download of the same comic book they bought in digital form.
That seems almost aimed at Marvel with their current ongoing thing.
That was part of the story, as Newsarama framed it, is that there is a new digital content war going on between the two major publishers. And I read that, sat back and said, war? One's doing A, one's doing B. I mean, come on, guys. It's not a war. It's just salesmanship. The title... Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's something that Marvel's been doing for a very long time, and Marvel's had some fluctuating prices with their titles, depending on how popular they are. And DC has been waving their flag. Well, we're going to keep it at $2.99 when they went with New 52, and then they went to Rebirth and said, we're still going to keep it at $2.99, and I guess that those days are gone.
Well, let me put it to you this way. They have picked the series that are going to get this new price tag, and it's one of those things where the price increase is very limited risk for DC. Get this. The series are All-Star Batman, Batgirl, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, Batman Beyond, Blue Beetle, Cyborg, The Hellblazer, New Superman, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Super Sons, Supergirl, Superwoman, Teen Titans, Titans, and Trinity.
Okay.
Only 2 titles in that whole lineup does not deal with the Holy Trinity of DC.
Yeah, Hellblazer and Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm. Actually, 3 if you count Cyborg, but I mean, he's a Justice Leaguer. He's practically in the family at this point.
True. Side note, Superwoman, I really like that title.
I haven't read it to any serious degree right now. I am actually, I checked out the first issue of Supergirl being super. I like it.
I have Supergirl #1 right here, ready to read, and I was thinking about doing it tonight, but hey, here I am.
Well, I haven't read the regular series. Like I said, I read Supergirl being super. That is a mini-series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is another. It's another retelling of Supergirl's origin, but it has a more terrestrial styling. It's kind of like the recent thing they did with Superman American Alien. It's about her time growing up as a girl in a small town with super abilities and trying to keep them under wraps.
It's times like this where my my knowledge of Marvel vastly outshines my knowledge of DC.
The only thing is, though, there's a caveat to this list in that All-Star Batman, since its begun, apparently, has had a price tag of $4.99 for all issues, so it's unclear if it's being reduced to $3.99 or if it gets to keep its near $5 price tag already.
Is this the same All-Star Batman that we had where he was bullying his Robin all the time?
No, this is the John Romita Jr. All-Star Batman, where Two-Face had convinced the entirety of Gotham to try and kill Batman, or he will leak all their secrets he's learned over his decades as a supervillain.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's pretty good.
All other Rebirth titles, however, are going to remain at $2.99. All the ones that are off this list will remain there. Now, one of the things that I had read about, I swore up and down it probably wouldn't work, but it appears it has. DC has a new #1 that's going to a second printing with a brand new cover.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
Justice League Power Rangers #1.
Oh, my God.
It's sold out. It's sold out at the distributor level.
Well,
yes.
No. That's all I had to say about that.
Okay. Stephen Byrne is doing the new cover. The new release is going to come out February 8th. Hey, congrats to them, man. That's one of those things. I did not think they would find a peanut butter chocolate combination like that. If it works, it works.
Hey, man, if it sells books, I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Yep. According to Steve Orlando, who is writing Justice League of America, they are not going to skimp on the small details like the location of Ray Palmer in the Microverse and how established heroes train newer ones. The book is going to have an overall global tone that the writer calls a, quote, feeling of we're all in it together, unquote.
Okay.
We're all in it. Is that like... What kind of we're all in it together is it? Is it a kumbaya feeling, or is it a Zeke Heil hearing? What are we talking about here?
Or the boat is sinking and we're all going with it? I don't know.
Newsarama asked that the team of Justice League of America was chosen by Batman. Do they follow him? Do they get along? Can you talk about the overall community of the JLA and how they work together? And according to Orlando, quote, that's a big part of what the JLA is all about. I mean, certainly there are people in the DCU who look up to Batman, especially the younger characters, and there are characters on the team who've known Batman for years and years. But at the same time, it's important to say, in my mind, that there isn't a leader. And that's a big part of why the JLA exists. It's the idea of a heroic community. It actually comes from Vixen and how she sees the world, that there's no such thing as someone else's problem. Her powers are connected to every living being on the planet, and she knows we're all in it together. You can't protect yourselves if you're not protecting everyone, because that's an illusion. It's a momentary illusion that doesn't see the bigger picture. So the JLA is all about not standing above people, but standing with people. Part and parcel of that is the fact that there isn't a specific leader of the JLA, and more specifically, maybe there isn't even a specific roster, at least on a spiritual level, because in the eyes of Vixen, the JLA is everyone. Whatever fight is going on in the world, it's everyone's fight, and that's a big part of why the team comes together to show people that, even if they see these characters who look like gods floating above them, anyone can be a hero. We say it time and again, they're not above the world, they're fighting with the world, and they're with people. And that's a small distinction, but I think it's a very important one, unquote.
Can they deliver?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say #1, that answer was wordy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The point at the end there that they're fighting with people, not above them, that's going to be interesting to see if they can pull it off.
I know, that's never been DC's strong point, in my opinion. Their characters have always fought way above the average person. You know, even the humans in their world are so insanely gifted for what they are, it just doesn't seem like the average populace is going to be involved other than screaming, buildings falling, and all that other stuff. And this is the JLA, so this is the roster of Batman, Vixen, Black Canary, the Ray, the Second Adam, Ray Chang, and Lobo.
Lobo?
We talked about this lineup, the old school Lobo.
Yeah, that's called the apology right there.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I missed one there. Killer Frost.
Killer Frost?
Killer Frost is on this squad.
Well, I guess that makes sense with what's going on or Flash. They would want to try to redeem her or something.
This is the first actual heroic turn for the character, though, that I know of in comic books. She's been nihilistic before, an anti-hero, but this will be her first time on a squad.
That's absolutely true. Every time I've seen Killer Frost, she's been particularly nasty.
Her New 52 version wasn't as nasty, but it's because they developed her to the point where she's a heat vampire, not a cryokinetic like most other iterations.
Yeah, and they made one of the supporting characters for Flash into Killer Frost, so you got to support your other media.
Yeah, and a DC character is getting her creator back.
Which one?
Harley Quinn. Paul Dini is going to be working on the regular series of Harley Quinn, starting with April's number 17.
I wonder if that'll influence what she's wearing.
God, I hope so. Dini co-created Harley Quinn with Bruce Timm for the Batman animated series. He's going to co-write the current series with Jimmy Palmiotti, who co-writes the main series currently. Brett Belvins is going to illustrate.
Well, let's see where that goes. I mean, I didn't like what they turned Harley Quinn into right around New 52, and then they did some more cosmetic changes, but she was still not Harley.
Well, she's come a long way since the New 52 look. She doesn't look like a...
Very right.
She doesn't look like a Harley Quinn cosplayer anymore.
Yeah.
However, most of her latest looks, they try to make her look so combat-ready, she's almost like Soldier Quinn lately.
Yeah, they got rid of that ridiculous red and blue hair that she had for a while. Gave her
now it's red and black hair. Now it's red and black.
Is it red and black? I thought they went to blonde to match up with Suicide Squad.
They did that more recently.
Okay.
That was in the last few months. Until before then, it was red and black, which is very bizarre to me.
Yeah.
It worked for that Green Lantern one-off issue that she did where she had a red and black ring. That was actually really cool. I enjoyed that a lot.
Well, DC also announced what books are going to be presenting on Free Comic Book Day on May 6th. They're doing a Free Comic Book Day version of Wonder Woman, a 2017 special edition. It's going to involve Diana's first year as Earth's protector. And the other book they're releasing is an issue of DC Superhero Girls. DC Superhero Girls is one of the few major moneymakers I know of for DC right now.
And I'm really glad to hear that. I really am.
Well, we talked about it in that the last fiscal year, the Superhero Girls license for DC pulled down over $1 billion.
Nice.
Yeah, basically telling the merchandising guys for the past 20 years they had no fucking clue what they were doing when they were merchandising towards girls.
Maybe that's why Paul Dini came back. He's often said that their issue with toys is why some of his favorite stuff gets killed.
Yeah, I really am glad that the companies involved are finally addressing this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last up in DC comic news, Batman is about to get a crossover with one of the characters that basically influenced his creation.
Zorro?
The Shadow?
No. Yes.
Oh.
Nice.
DC is teaming up with Dynamite Comics for a Batman Shadow crossover. It's going to be written by Scott Snyder, one of the current Batman writers, and Steve Orlando. The art is going to be done by Riley Rossmo. The issue is solicited to come out April 26. The solicit says, quote, 2 of history's greatest vigilantes are reunited at last. Murder has come to Gotham City, and Lamont Cranston appears to be the culprit, but he's been dead for over 50 years. Batman will go to the ends of the earth to unravel the mystery of Cranston's life, but the mysterious Shadow will do everything in his power to stop him from learning too much, unquote. The cover they've released for this issue is pretty badass, actually. I have sent you guys a link so you can take a look at it.
Yeah, I really like the red in this.
Yeah. Has this scarf always been red?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Shadow's always had
Batman's
a really...
costume. It's a lot more simplistic.
Well, the Shadow's always had a really simple costume. He's probably one of the first noir superheroes to actually have a special ability, really.
Yeah, and his mask covered basically just his mouth. Instead of, the whole ninja mask where it covers his nose. And the Shadow always had a gigantic schnoz. It just crowns over his little red mask in all the pictures they were.
Pretty sure he was Jewish.
No, let's not get that.
Now, in this particular world in DC, was a Shadow a character that Bruce Wayne looked up to, or is this a different character altogether?
Well, the Shadow's never a DC character per se, so Bruce Wayne never could really look up to him. Was he a Charleston character for a while?
I believe so. I know that there's been a prior crossover between the two, but with the number of reboots that DC Continuity has, it's hard to tell how much Batman knows about the Shadow. And given this is a limited crossover, I imagine that knowledge base is going to be kind of limited.
Because, depending on which media you look at, he's here. That movie theater was here showing like the Grey Ghost, the Shadow, or Mask of Zorro.
That's right. Grey Ghost was
true.
the Shadow.
I forgot about the Grey Ghost.
Yeah.
The thing is, Batman may be the most well-known detective noir superhero in the world, but people keep forgetting that he was influenced, and he had two predecessors, the Shadow and the Spirit. The Spirit was the first noir superhero, and all he had was a domino mask and a blue suit.
And gloves. Don't forget the gloves.
Yeah. So, I don't know about the quotes, but I would imagine that Bob Kane would admit that he leaned pretty heavily on the Shadow and the Spirit to help draft the original version of the Batman.
Yeah, I think Mask of Zorro was also part of that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But take a look here. Actually, you know what? Batman predates the Spirit by about 2 to 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, I knew there had to be something wrong with that because I was looking at a documentary just a couple of days ago where Will Eisner was still alive, and he didn't look that old. So I was like, And I just looked it up while we're talking, and it looks like he first appeared in June of 1940. But you are right about the Shadow. The Shadow predates Batman by a decade.
All right. Now we have general comic and convention news. This is where we talk about comics that are not Marvel or DC related, as well as conventions that happen all around the world. I only have one bit of convention news this week, and that is that the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, C2E2, is getting a little bit of an upgrade.
Oh.
As of its 2017 convention, it is partnering up with the Maker Faire Festival.
Maker?
Yeah, according to the press release by C2E2, quote, Maker Faire is a 2-day, all-ages gathering of tech enthusiasts, crafters, educators, tinkerers, hobbyists, engineers, science clubs, authors, artists, students, and commercial exhibitors. Makers from around the Midwest and beyond will come to Maker Faire Chicago to show what they have made and to share what they have learned during the making process. The fair will take place in Lakeside Center at McCormick Place on Saturday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, April 23rd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Unquote. That's just one paragraph of the presser, but it does indicate that C2E2 is moving to become a more encompassing convention a la... I guess really the only parallels right now would probably be New York and San Diego Comic-Con. They're looking for other items beyond just comic books and pop culture to bring people in. And I can't speak for you guys, but something like that is really interesting to me to give me an alternative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially since their idea of makers seems to be anything from a creator all the way up to engineers.
It seems like they're having the Maker Faire is going to be in the Bay Area in May.
I guess Maker Faire is probably a series of things going on around the country.
Actually, they only have 2 dates, 3 dates if you include Chicago. But
you would have
to. Yeah, Bay Area, Chicago, and New York.
Yeah, it's a partnership. It's not like they're absorbing Maker Faire to create just a gargantuan comic convention. Sounds like it's 2 events going on in 2 buildings that'll be pretty close together. But I wonder if you can buy one badge and get into both.
Well, Fanime does that with the steampunk. What was the name of that steampunk convention that goes?
The Clockwork Academy, I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation, though.
Yeah.
The sales results are out for December of 2016, and we have the king of December is Justice League vs. Suicide Squad #1. That was the best-selling comic of all of December. The second behind it was Inhumans vs. X-Men. Best-selling graphic novel was Love is Love. That was the independent release celebrating LGBTQ stories, creators, and lifestyle. If you're looking for what the market share is, Marvel has regained its lead in the market share. It went up to 36% plus. DC Entertainment came in at 29% plus for December.
Both of that's still strong for both of them, though.
It is still strong for both of them, but that means that the early bump they had at the beginning of Rebirth, where they took over market share by 3%, seems to be winding back down to its usual numbers. Pre-Rebirth, Marvel had about a 10% lead on DC in overall market share. Right now it seems to be at 7%.
I wonder if that Suicide Squad versus Justice League was due to the movie.
Maybe, but it's the first major event Rebirth has had. If you break down the number one, or if you break down the top 10 selling comics, DC had 5. They had 5 top selling comics. Marvel had the other 5.
Okay.
And Boom Studios is launching a standalone digital comics app with Madefire. Boom Studios is releasing its own Boom Studios app, now available on the iTunes App Store, coming soon to Google Play. So Boom Studios is making the jump into digital comics. Boom Studios is a company right now that has several properties, including Lumberjanes, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, WWE properties, Steven Universe, The Woods, and a lot more. I'm not sure I would read a Steven Universe comic. The cartoon is great, but a comic book, I don't know. Well, a storyline that we started talking about back in December has come home to roost.
And that would be...
In this week's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 11, they have revealed the identity of the Black Dragon.
Okay. Who is it?
Lord Drakon is the name of the character.
Lord Drakon.
Yep. He was confronted by Tommy Oliver and Billy, the Blue and Green Ranger specifically, in their plain clothes. They went to the Black Dragon's home dimension and faced him head on. And when the Black Dragon removed his helmet, he revealed that it is Tommy Oliver.
What?
From an alternate dimension.
Oh, evil Tommy.
This is a Green Ranger who never broke away from his evil influence under his first appearance as Rita Repulsa's lackey. But he eventually overpowered her and took over his own world, including killing the Power Rangers of his world.
So wait, is this the Power Rangers comic we're talking about here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The comic book has done what the TV show hasn't done in over 2 decades and created a new Ranger. And this one is an amalgamation of 3 other costumes that the character of Tommy had worn during his appearances in the TV shows. So Jesse was right. His first guess, it was Tommy under the helmet after all.
It's always
but I never would have guessed alternate dimension. Although that has been overly used so much.
Did he have a beard?
No. No, he did have some white hair at the temples and at the top of his head, and he had a wicked scar down one of his cheeks.
Oh, 2 tropes in 1.
Yes. They did everything but call down the Undertaker to call him his brother and chokeslam him through the mat.
Let's see. Was it a dueling scar? Tell me it's a dueling scar.
No, it was more like a spider web thing at the bottom of his jaw.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of infection.
I talked a little bit during the sales numbers about the graphic novel Love is Love. That was the IDW Publishing and DC Comics benefit anthology. It turns out that it has gone far enough to promote a signing. On February 15th, some of the creators from Love is Love are going to appear at the New York retailer Escape Pod Comics from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's being organized by T. Franklin, who wrote a story for Love is Love. And if you go for the signing, Escape Pod Comics will be donating 15% of all of that day's profits to a political advocacy group called Equality Florida, who is also receiving all of IDW and DC's Love is Love profits. So far for the signing are T. Franklin herself, Chris Miskowitz, Jeffrey Barant, and Isaac Goodhart. I almost said Godhart. The signing is going to occur at Escape Pod Comics at 302 Main Street in Huntington Village, New York. I am aware of Metal Hurlant.
What?
Metal Hurlant.
I am unaware of this.
It is a comic book magazine from France. It was founded by the
Heavy Metal.
Mobius, Drouillet, and Dionnet.
Yeah,
that later inspired Heavy Metal magazine in the U.S. This brand was created in 1974. The senior art director of the Humanoid series is they've created a new logo for new projects by Metal Hurlant that are going to be created later this year.
Oh, is Heavy Metal still being printed in the U.S.?
I believe it is, but I've seen it occasionally on what newsstand still exists, but I gotta imagine it's gone to a digital print by now.
Yeah, I imagine so. I remember opening up Heavy Metal in my local 7-Eleven as a kid, going, "Oh, hey, look, comic books. Oh, hey, that's a big magazine." Open it up, and there's a guy with this elephant penis on a table for everyone to see, and I was like, "Whoa, this is a different kind of comic."
Well, Fabrice Geiger, he's the Humanoid CEO. He said, quote, "Since the 70s, metal has been part of the worldwide pop culture. It has always been a symbol of the strong ties that exist between the comic book world and the movie industry. Blade Runner and Mad Max's creators, only to name a few, shared the same creative and innovative spirit, a spirit that has never faltered across Humanoid's many ventures, and now that is being revitalized in the form of this new logo and movement," unquote.
Wasn't Heavy Metal and some of the stories of Heavy Metal, they influenced not only Fifth Element, but also Frank Miller's Hard Boiled?
I want to say yes. I do know that series like that heavily influence other creators, and in turn, I mean, I think Heavy Metal was often cited by H.R. Geiger as a part of why his designs became what they were. But, you know, this is Metal Hurlant. This would be like the great-grandfather of Heavy Metal, frankly. So
Indeed.
it sounds like this imprint is just starting a new revitalization of itself. Last up in general comic news, the DC offshoot Wildstorm is getting new breath with the Wildstorm series coming out soon. Newsarama has a gallery of art from some of the first pages of the series without dialogue text.
Are we talking Wildcats? We're talking
the Wildstorm universe being reborn again. If DC's going through its rebirth, I'm sure Jim Lee wouldn't mind some of his original creations getting a new shot. These are some of his classic characters with brand new designs, and it looks like a whole new story. The cover to the Wildstorm, you're looking at the new versions of Zealot, Voodoo, and Deathblow.
Oh, Deathblow.
Yeah, Deathblow has changed races.
Oh, has he? What is he now?
He's black.
I sent you guys the gallery so you could take a look. He's a black man now.
I thought he was always a black man.
No.
Oh, shows you what I know about Wildstorm.
Clayton Cole, or Cole, something like that.
Oh, you're thinking of Cole Cash.
Yeah, Cole Cash was a grifter.
Yeah,
Michael
that's right.
Michael Cray was the Deathblow.
Okay, yeah. No, Clayton was Mark Clayton. That was Backlash.
No, that's Mark Slayton.
Yeah, that's Mark Slayton. That's my boy. I loved Backlash.
Steven apparently has been working on ships since the 1990s.
Who's this this woman covered in armor? She kind of reminds me of Engineer.
That is the new Engineer.
It is? Oh, okay.
Yes.
So they're going to bring back an Authority?
No. Elements of the original Wildstorm universe are being used in this new The Wildstorm series. Warren Ellis has said he has a 2-year plan for this series already laid out.
Well, I hope that 2-year plan is bringing back the Authority the way they used to be, which was super fucking badass and hyper violent.
I kind of like the first full page here where Zealot is cleaning blood off her face. It's in the form of her original markings from the 90s.
Yeah,
I noticed that. That was kind of cool.
Including the cut on the forehead. Although
that's not a cut. That's a dollop of blood. She had a dot up there before, and she killed a 7-fingered man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
8
I'm assuming
fingers.
that's a Damonite.
I'm not sure what that is because, again, there's no dialogue here, so it's hard to tell who she's even talking to. It appears she has a communicator in her ear.
Right.
But when you get to the 4th page, you take a look at the new fully armored Engineer there,
right,
who almost has a Mecha Predator vibe.
Uh-huh. I always thought Engineer was cool.
I do like the designs on these characters. And I'm hoping they do what they did in the 90s. In the 90s, Wildstorm characters, which were Image characters way back when, were kind of like superheroes magnified. They were all the major tropes just turned up to a multitude of turned up to a magnitude of 12. It looks like they've tried to modernize the concept as well as trim back some of the things that just wouldn't work in the modern era of comics.
Yeah, it's a different time. If they,
Yeah, I mean, not everybody can survive giant shoulder pads and pouches.
Oh, it was a dark, dark time for costumes. Cable. Oh, you bastard.
All the pouches.
I want to take this time to say it once more. Fuck Rob Liefeld.
Especially since he's getting his own television shows and...
Well, he's also the one helping out Fox with their cinematic universe.
Right.
Let's hope he's not helping too much.
And Hasbro, I think.
Fucking Rob.
And last up is our WTF Corner. That's where we talk about those stories from across the internet that make you hate Rob Liefeld, oddly enough. First up, we have video game videos, incredible plays, unbelievable falls, and the kinds of things that just make you wish the original Xbox still existed. And how would you like to start with Battlefield 1 this week?
Okay, those are usually interesting.
Yeah, I had a number to pick from this week, but I chose one in particular. This came from the channel of Lucas Japonicus, Lukas space Japonicus. Title of this video is Just a Bit Off the Top.
Okay.
Okay.
It involves some daredevil flying. I sent the video.
Oh, playing right away.
Yep. Here we go.
Gunning down a position, can't seem to hit the bastard. Well, this is too low to the ground. I need to pull up.
Somebody.
Got him!
Oh! Yeah!
Gave that poor guy a buzz cut.
Oh, that was ugly.
I bet you even the player, when he pulled up and all of a sudden you see that marker that says you killed somebody, he just went, shit, seriously?
I need to get my hands on that game, I tell you.
Well, I have two Titanfall 2 videos this week.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I just still don't think we're going to find anything that tops that guy just soloing those other 5 players.
You're just fortunate we had the time to go through a 12-minute video where a guy soloed 5 players, but we don't have that kind of time this week. No, I've got a video from the channel of the user Unknown. That is his name, Unknown.
Okay.
Really?
And, yes.
No numbers behind it. Unknown.
No, there's no numbers, no underscores, no fancy letters, no substitute 3s or anything. He's just Unknown.
It was that long to take that username? Holy crap.
I almost... he would have the perfect intro to all of his videos if he just comes out every time. Coming down the aisle from Parts Unknown.
I have a deep fear of him.
Well, he titled this Titanfall 2 video, The Fuck?
It's unknown.
It is unknown.
That is the title of the video. The fuck?
Man,
all right.
Suspense here. Come on.
Yeah,
I sent the video. He's running along a wall, and he's bounced high into the sky!
Hey.
How the fuck did that happen?
Wow.
Attention, Titan, your pilot is incoming. What?
He's got nothing on Mario.
What happened?
How did that happen?
Yeah, we will call you Jumpman from now on.
You have unlocked achievement.
You hear a sound of
yourself.
explosion when...
There was just this weird popping sound and he went straight up.
Yeah.
Well, the other Titanfall 2 video is very self-evident. This came from the channel of user JohnJohn1239. JON1239. He titled his video, 11 Kill Streak.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, wait till you see it. I sent the video.
Got it.
Nope. Use boost.
And coming
Titan
back.
Incoming.
Oh, did he kill it? Did he kill it?
Nope.
Yeah.
Missed it.
Oh, it's in front of it.
Nom 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 the pilot, and we're all set to go.
Yep. And immediately kills somebody just by taking
Stepped on him.
Something. Killed.
Personal
Missed
laser.
with the laser.
Missed that.
launched.
These poor little bastards.
Shot him through the electric smoke.
Oh damn!
And look, there's one. Pimp hand.
Punch.
And pimp hand.
Oh man!
And again,
3 in a row. Why are they
lemmings?
Little red mists of explosion.
Pimp hand.
And another
there's a
one.
tactic here
That's
that
five.
I've missed that says run directly to Titan's fist.
Oh, and another 2.
Smart enough to run away.
So
Pimp
here's
hand.
6. Never mind.
Oh, jump. Pimp
And
hand.
7.
Hey there.
Two-punch. Nice job.
Nice job.
Titan.
Oh, wow.
And shoot
There's
the
one.
Titan. Oh, there's
Oh.
one. But, he
That one
misses
got away.
the pimp hand. His pimp hand is
And
not.
point blank laser
Mikey.
core.
That was very dramatic.
It's always useful when you can just Kamehameha your opponents to death.
Kamehameha.
Why
What would you call
it?
it?
Past an enemy Titan.
I don't know. Man, there is some kind of tactic programmers use apparently that says run directly towards things that could just mow you down.
I don't think this meta is working.
Yeah, I missed this class, I guess. It's been a while since we've had a good Halo 5 video, though.
Okay.
This one came from the channel user Del Real King. I think I ordered that at Del Taco. DELREALKING. The title of this video is Calculated Kill Steal.
Tell me you're going to edit out that horrible joke.
No,
Screw
he's
you,
not.
it's my show. I will edit what I please. Find yourself terribly diminished all of a sudden. But I sent the video. Sniper rifle. And takedown.
Oh.
And enemy down. Nope.
How the hell
Now
did
he's
you know
down.
he was there?
I have no clue.
Ooh.
How about this?
These people do ridiculous things.
No scope.
Oh,
no scope.
And another guy.
Watch the second one. Assassination
Oh.
and denied.
Oh, that sucks.
Did he really shoot that guy shooting? Okay, so the guy jumped on the other guy, and he no-scoped that guy off of his team.
No scope denied.
Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't off of his teammate. He stole that kill from his teammate.
Yep. No, he was a red shooting at blues. So yeah, he stopped the red from an assassination. He did a showstopper.
Yeah.
With a no scope. That's the ultimate kill steal.
I wish I could sniper shot like this.
Well, I'm sure he's had practice. The game's been out for over a year now. All right, I got a few more videos for you. Oh, here's one that has been a long time since we've used. Just Cause 3.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Just Cause, the adventure game that has all kinds of funny mechanics and causes a number of strange things to happen. This came from the channel of user Dash, DAASH. He titled this video, Mush!
Mush.
Mush!
Okay.
Talking to dogs, I would assume.
Nope. I sent the video. So, grapple the fisherman.
Fisherman.
Oh.
Here, take this boat. You ain't going... Wait, where are you going?
Wait.
Why are you dragging the trawler, sir?
Is this Popeye in disguise?
Oh my god, Bruce Wayne is a fisherman, Bruce Banner is a fisherman, and I pissed him off.
This is impressive.
Yeah.
Quite.
He dragged it all the way into the wall. So, I'm gonna leave that guy alone, I guess.
I would be far more impressed if it actually starts tipping the boat.
I was hoping it would.
That's one of those videos where you're just not quite sure how to respond.
It's called record and post this on YouTube and let everyone else decide.
Well, Rainbow Six Siege. Anybody here play it?
No.
No.
Heard about it.
Okay. Well, we have a video here from the channel of user Yellow Leo. YELLOWLEO. He titled this video, Dumb and Dumber Chase After a Drone.
Okay.
Okay.
It's pretty self-explanatory, but it comes with a twist. I sent the video. Player's already sent out a drone. You see that guy? He's shooting at it.
Uh-huh.
So the drone runs away, runs past a body in a corner,
Oh, the drone's on.
and stops here. And see this? Gun down, the two guys chasing it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh.
The ultimate zing. Wow. He was playing possum and
In
just
the
gunned the two
garbage.
poor bastards down.
He was playing possum on a dead body.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
He
gonna...
laid in a body and just waited. That's smarter than I am. There's no other way to say it. And last up is another Titanfall 2 video, but I had to save this till last because it's the type of things that would make a person nearly quit a game. This came from the channel of user FS Tanks. That's letter F, letter S, space TANKS. The title of this video is 360 No Scope from MLG Auto Titan.
Oh, Jesus. That sounds skillful.
It's pretty impressive. I sent the video. You have a player on Hot Pursuit. Does a couple wall jumps. He's on his way, throws a grenade, and he was killed by what?
What the hell?
Here's the replay. See that Titan just standing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
360s, fire!
Oh, wow, to show off.
Oh.
A Titan with no pilot in it.
Titan.
Yeah, a Titan with no pilot in it just decided to show off his skills.
That was an NPC Titan that did that?
Yeah.
That was an NPC Titan who just did a 360 no-scope.
It was basically because you can summon your Titan but not get into it, in which case it'll run around on AI. And so that was an AI'd Titan.
And then I guess the 360 no-scope sounds a bit more believable.
Well, it tends to mimic the behavior of the player.
Well, I think it has more to do with the fact
Within
that
reason.
Yeah, I think that Titan probably had the upgraded AI package that you can install in it, so that it will actually use all of its
faculty
specials
data?
and all of its specials, and also it's just more accurate.
Like, you know what Dick programmed in a 360 no-scope into his Titan.
Yeah.
One of the things that's been circling around the internet lately is Mark Hamill reading Donald Trump's tweets as the Joker.
Yeah,
fucking brilliant.
I was on the fence as to whether or not to play that, but I think I found something better.
Okay.
Because there is a video on YouTube of Pinky and the Brain reading Donald Trump's New Year's tweet. It was just one tweet, or one quote, and it starts off blank because whoever was replaying the video forgot to turn up the sound on his own player, but once it starts up, it's frickin' brilliant. You want to hear this?
Yeah.
I sent the video. It's blank for a second here. You can see him getting ready to turn up the audio. Here it comes.
New Year to all, including to my many enemies, and those who have fought me and lost so badly, they just don't know what to do. Love. What the Pinky?
Yes, Brian?
Have you been fiddling with the communication settings on the Trump bot again, making it tweet inanities?
No, Brian, I haven't touched it since the day it declared its candidacy.
Wait, are you telling me the Trump bot won the election all on its own? In spite of what this may mean for the country, I have succeeded in creating artificial intelligence.
Yeah, well, Brian, I'd have gone a wee bit easier on the artificial and concentrated a little bit more on the intelligence, if you don't mind me saying so.
I do. I must go back to the lab to plan
Pinky.
for tomorrow night.
Why, Brian? What are we going to do tomorrow night?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world from Donald Trump bot.
Melania! I just like saying that. Melania! Oh, sorry.
If I could reach you, I would hurt you.
Suffice it to say, that made my week.
Wow. That's pretty bad. Wow.
That does explain the current state of U.S. politics in a way I had never thought of before, but really helps me understand a lot.
It just proves to us how dumb America is.
Well, I have a list that came from Adequate Man, which is a Deadspin offshoot. Last week we had the list of emergency room records as to what people found in their what doctors found in various orifices in 2016.
Oh God.
There was an additional list that I guess they forgot to give to us. There's an actual list of records from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission database of emergency room visits of horrible things people have done to their penises in 2016.
No.
Can we skip this?
No.
I always say the same thing, and unfortunately, he always says no.
It's fun being in charge. But these are not things that were just jammed in the end of it. This is a list of horrible things that actually happened to people in 2016. Grabbed BB gun while wrestling and got shot in penis.
Ow.
Okay.
Why is there a BB gun in wrestling? I'm not quite sure.
And why were they naked?
Fell downstairs with a stick from a tree. He had sharpened it into an arrow-pointed end. Stick landed on scrotum.
Oh, God.
Are they sure the stick landed on scrotum? Because it sounded more like scrotum landed on stick.
You know, just listening to these stories hurts my own penis.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
This is a guy who hurt his own penis. Masturbating while talking on telephone with girlfriend, cracked his penis.
What? I
don't... What? The man must have had incredible grip strength.
Either that or he's being very fastidious. Very, very speedy.
Hulk-like girl. Oh, Hulk hurt self. Mashed his penis between car trunk and lawnmower. Wow. There are certain things you just don't do nude.
Oh, God!
Car trunk and lawnmower. I'm trying to understand the physics behind this, and I'm failing somehow.
It's like, I slammed my dick in the door. What?
That would have made more sense, frankly.
That's impressive. That takes a lot of focus.
Okay, here is a Darwin Award that I can almost guarantee happened in either Louisiana, Kentucky, or possibly Arkansas. Driving go-kart, struck clothesline, striking scrotum against shaft of steering wheel.
The fuck?
They decided to do a roller derby go-kart thing. Somebody clotheslined his ass.
When they say clothesline, I'm pretty sure they mean the post holding up one end of the clothesline.
Yeah.
Because if it was just him driving around and Steve Austin clotheslined him off the go-kart, that would be a whole different injury. Fell on meat thermometer, puncture scrotum.
No. God damn it.
At least you can tell what his temperature was when he arrived at the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe it read done.
Penis shut in dresser drawer.
Wow. That's why you put the underwear on before you close it.
The only way that could be more embarrassing is if that dresser drawer happens to belong to your mother.
Oh, God, you know when you could start editing this for length, you know exactly which part to start with.
Editing for length, was that a pun?
Oh, God.
Had penis surgery last week, skin glue stick to diaper, and came off today causing uncontrollable penile bleeding.
Uncontrollable.
There was a lot there that doesn't make sense, but still...
Oh, God.
What? I'm assuming after the surgery he had to wear a diaper, and then...
Oh, okay, yeah, the glue holding the skin onto the penis got stuck to the diaper as well, and it sounds like he pulled the whole thing off, unfortunately.
See, uncontrollable bleeding gives me an illusion of one of those 1920s slapstick where they're...
Series of unfortunate events for this...
Yeah, they're trying to hold the plumbing together while the water's just shooting everywhere.
So far, this sounds like an awesome episode of Archer. Oh, God, I don't even know. Okay. This is one of those things that could have been an 80s movie if it wasn't so horrible. Playing with car toy, penis caught in wheels. You should really use those Hot Wheels on the designated tracks. Hitting scrotum this morning. I mean, scrotum. What?
Whatever happened to Casey? I mean, he came up for one episode, then we never saw him again.
Probably because, well, it could be what happened to this next guy. Hitting scrotum this morning by cornhole beanbag.
Cornhole bean. What is a cornhole beanbag?
I don't.
You never played cornhole?
No.
Cornhole is just that game that you see people play. It's got that tilted board that's on street side, and you're just trying to toss beanbags through the holes in the board. It's like a game from the goddamn 40s. So somebody must have thought he was funny when his buddy was standing behind the board, wound up, and gave it a toss.
That does sound unpleasant.
So does this. Metal ring on penis since last night. Fell asleep with it on.
What? Oh, God.
Are you drunk?
Must have been to not pull that off before you fell asleep.
Don't tell me there's a follow-up to that where it gangrened.
No. The next guy, actually, well, it's not a follow-up, but the next one is kind of like that. Sores on his penis. 6 days began after he sprayed lidocaine spray on penis to prolong erection.
That's a thing?
It's an urban legend. It's been disproven scientifically for quite a while. Obviously, he hasn't read that disproving.
Somehow I'm not surprised.
I think this next guy lied. Naked running in the home when he tripped over a lamp, cutting scrotum on bulb. Was he just jogging in his living room?
Oh my god.
How many more of these do we got to sit through?
I don't know.
Enough.
Until he is done.
Stepping over dog gate at in-laws, misstep, came down on gate on testicles.
I can see that happening. That's
that's the most believable thing we've read so far. Caught self on fire with cutting torch. 2nd-degree burns to scrotum, penis, and perineum. He even got the taint.
Wow. He got the taint. Man, you'll fuck with the taint.
Man.
God,
got a triple.
What was he doing? Oh, I know what he was doing.
I don't know. Caught self on fire with cutting torch.
He was lighting farts.
Playing with a knife and sustained penis laceration.
He rolled a 1 on that skill check right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You want to talk about a 1? A rock was thrown from a lawnmower while brother was mowing lawn and patient got hit in penis.
Patient?
Yeah, which means this poor guy was a third party to everything else happening. Just random rock right in the balls.
Oh,
I've been hit by flying debris from a mower of that nature. Not fun.
How about this? Had a mortar, Type B firework explode in his lap.
Why is it in your lap?
5 will get you 10. He was trying to launch it from his butthole.
He was probably keeping it warm.
String tied around base of penis. States he has it to keep an erection. Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. Now that's a Darwin Award right there. He should have lost it.
Yeah, obviously he should have remembered why he tied that on. That reminder did not work.
It did not.
Lacerated penis on wristwatch.
Oh. Ow. Fuck.
That's just not where you put a Rolex, man.
That's definitely worse than a zipper.
Penis pinched in a bifold closet door.
What was it doing in there?
Fell into fan causing laceration on scrotum. Fell into a fan?
Jesus.
Some level stupidity happened there.
Hey, Steve.
Hey. Yeah.
Putting on pants this morning too quickly. Scrotal bruise.
Yeah.
There's bound to be at least one.
This goes back to my second quote now comes into play. Hey, Casey, I was listening to that podcast you were on. It's too bad to listen to half an hour of penis injuries to get to the good stuff.
Scratched his penis on a plastic bottle while trying to urinate in it. What kind of plastic is that?
I don't... Dude, really? How many more of these are there?
Yeah.
Jumped off of toilet, scratching scrotum on pointed towel hook.
Oh,
That's the wrong kind of gymnastics.
I'm done.
Jumped into a swimming pool, landed on top of another kid, causing contusion to penis.
Okay. Not terrible, but still painful.
Filling up inflatable pool using hand pump. Patient stuck penis in intake valve while they were blowing it up.
What?
Somebody stuck his willy in the intake end of a hand pump for some reason.
No!
That's about as good as the people that were taking the gas station air hoses and shoving them up their ass.
True. Although this next one sounds like something... Oh, God. Turn the lights down low. Turn up the music. Having intercourse with wife. Was inserting his penis while positioning his wife when jammed penis onto bedpost.
How
missed.
That happen?
He missed. Vastly.
At
the
gym,
missed the broadside of a barn.
Hey, you have no idea how fat his wife is. Shut up. At the gym, clothing got caught in the rowing machine, pulled between scrotum and anus per dad like a wedgie. Perennial hematoma.
Oh, Murphy loves this guy.
Dude! I think that was Murphy's wedgie.
That poor man.
Was dancing with his girlfriend and penis accidentally got cut on her pant zipper.
The explanation kind of skips a couple steps there.
Someone lied to a doctor.
That or somebody just has zero patience whatsoever. You gotta actually get her pants off to do that properly. Got penis caught on belt buckle and possibly crushed. Whose belt buckle? Okay, this is probably somebody under the age of 10. Playing with mom's exercise band when it snapped back, hitting his penis.
Ow! Oh!
Okay, this one is actually one that most men can relate to at some point in their lives. Riding a stationary bike, standing up with feet on pedals when he slipped and fell, hitting his penis against seat. That's happened to a lot of people. Had an erection and pulled his jeans over penis and felt like it bent.
Oh.
That's usually months of corrective surgery. Was jumping on bed playing with chopsticks. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Chopsticks went through sweatpants and punctured scrotum.
This was a kid.
Why are you jumping on a bed with chopsticks? What game is that?
This is a kid.
This is the game of how stupid can I be?
Okay, I can guarantee you the next one was a dad. Hitting the penis with a soccer ball. He cannot feel his penis.
That kid's got a good leg.
That was an episode of America's Funniest Home Videos. Had a .22 caliber handgun in his pants pocket when it discharged and blew penis off. Amputated.
You don't put... No!
Oh.
That's why they make holsters, dude.
What the heck? Was jumping with spatula in his hand 1 hour ago and jumped on it. Scrotum laceration.
No.
There's a certain amount of physics here I'm not getting.
Plausible, but...
Yeah.
Dude.
And the last one? Oh, man. Doing the worm maneuver on carpeting while naked and sustained a laceration.
That's why you remove the shag carpeting from your
That
home.
is rug burn, dude. Oh, God. How'd you like to go the other direction?
No. I'm done with this shit.
No, the other direction, literally. The funniest FCC complaints regarding the World Wrestling Federation.
Okay.
Somebody actually complained to the FCC, quote, WWE is refusing to change up their story on Rusev and Big Show. On 10/20 on Monday Night Raw, Rusev was about to rip down the American flag on national TV. WWE always tapes their show, so there is your evidence. But for 3 months, Rusev and his manager badmouthed America. Just attempting to rip down the flag is an act of terrorism and is illegal. This needs to be dealt with. Unquote.
It's not illegal.
It's not.
It's a TV show, goddammit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody actually complained to the FCC in 2014 that the WWE is impersonating police officers and it was recorded live during the show. I know it's very much illegal in all states to do that. Please take away their broadcasting rights and fine them. Unquote.
Yeah, whatever.
I really don't like wrestling.
Actually, this person liked it too much. Quote, on August 18th, 2014, Dean Ambrose was assaulted by members of the Authority. Unquote. That was the complaint.
Someone can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality.
What the frick? Quote, I watched WWE Monday Night Raw with my kids every Monday on USA Network. I have thought about sending an email like this because there are some things that make me sick, and it's a PG show that only has V in its description. But this past Monday, I have snapped. They claim they are a family-friendly wrestling product and blah, 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 but they have two characters who do a live commercial for Twisted Tea. Then my kids are asking me for a Twisted Tea, and I had to tell them what it is. I am begging that the FCC just change the rating for WWE Raw from TV PG V to TV 14 DVL. Unquote.
What was the product?
What's the product?
Twisted Tea. It's an alcoholic tea.
That's it?
That's it.
It doesn't have, like, I don't know, penises and shit in it?
Nope.
We can go back to the other list.
No, it's okay. We're good.
All right. Oh, God. Man, this was from 2013. Quote, very graphic viewing of false interpretation of religious practices, striking fear in elderly neighbors, women, and children in the community. This is a church-going community. We have over 5 different denominational churches in a half-mile radius, including 2 high schools, a junior high school, and 2 or 3 elementary schools. You are uncomfortably aware of the amount of kids in your area. I even attended college not too far from where I live now. Please locate the source and show them what it means to be decent and stop clogging our television programming with garbage. This goes for all Comcast Xfinity stations. They really need to put a lid on things. Thank you for reading and appreciate your concern. Signed, Jehovah? Unquote.
Yeah, whatever. No, actually, I'm still on the Twisted Tea thing. This person does realize that the commercial content is determined by USA, not by WWE.
I would think so, but sometimes they do some live advertising on the show, characters talking about stuff. Oh, somebody got uncomfortably specific. Quote, I was watching the Cartoon Network with my younger sister and was quite alarmed at the new Fruity Pebbles commercial featuring one John Cena, a professional wrestler and champion of the WWE Federation. The distressing line that caught me by surprise was a line implying there should be a 5-knuckle shuffle in your face. Now, I've heard that this particular bit of slang is in fact innuendo, referring to the act of a male pleasuring himself through the immoral act of masturbation. Immoral, even. Obviously, for the Cartoon Network and a beloved children's cereal such as Fruity Pebbles, this is quite inappropriate and alarming. Further research indicates that the 5-knuckle shuffle is in fact the name of one of Mr. Cena's finishing maneuvers. It was in fact named after they use in fact like every other sentence. It was in fact named after the act of touching oneself and has been named so for almost 8 years according to Wikipedia. Oh, a learned person.
Yeah, they went to the ultimate source, Wikipedia.
On a program which is supposedly G-rated like Monday Night Raw, which features all the WWE wrestlers, including one Mr. Cena, a reference to the act of masturbation is not only wildly out of place, it is totally immoral and obscene. I was disgusted to hear a reference to the immorality of masturbation while my sister enjoyed a rerun of the Adventure Time. She even asked me what a 5-knuckle shuffle was. I only grew aware of the term from a friend in college, and even there it was disgusting. Wow, you didn't know anything about college, did you? I implore you to take action and spare any other families an awkward and inappropriate conversation just because Mr. Cena in Post Serials wishes to be seen as edgy. Unquote. Holy crap!
Take that stick out of your ass, man.
Signed, Mr. Kirk Cameron.
The next one might be racist.
Really?
Quote, according to the WWE, their shows are PG. They claim not to have any sexually explicit programming. For months now, a group of characters known as the New Day have come out on television gyrating their pelvic area while wearing pants that are tight in the crotch, leaving nothing to the imagination. The New Day is all black, by the way. Other wrestlers have done it too, such as Wade Barrett. I know that I can change the channel and don't have to watch it, but the WWE claims to be PG, where they don't show blood, women shaking their butts, and other non-violent or non-sexual material. Then the should practice it with all characters and content. The WWE doesn't have a way to contact them to file a complaint. They should practice the all or nothing theory. I have no problem with blood or them hitting each other with sledgehammers, but if they claim to be PG, then they should be forced to practice it, unquote.
WWE must have like a huge department dedicated to receiving this kind of crap.
Probably, but I'm more concerned by the wording on the last one because it makes it sound like I have no problem if it's a PG show with blood and sledgehammers and hitting each other with sledgehammers, but if they gyrate and shake their butts, oh my god, that's too much for me. Wow. I used to think I was a boring individual. Now I just think I have a sense of humor. The subject of this week is Civil War, issues 1 through 8 by Marvel Comics. This was the big... It was supposed to be a summer event, but it was pretty much a fall into winter event this year. It is the storyline where a new precognitive character shows up in Marvel, and Captain Marvel has decided to use their abilities to try to prevent things from happening in the Marvel Universe that could cost numerous lives, whereas Tony Stark took up the role of more or less freedom of choice at the beginning of the series. And I gotta say, it was a large event at 8 issues for the central story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me make sure I got this right here. It was written by Brian Michael Bendis. The art was by David Marquez, who up until recently was the team that was running Invincible Iron Man. Color artist is Justin Ponser. The letter is VC's Clayton Cowles. Designer is Victor Ochoa. And the cover artist was Marko Durdovic. And I know it had a lot to live up with the original Civil War. That was a big turning point for Marvel Comics and a major event that a lot of people reference. I will say that the second one did not live up to the hype of the first.
No.
That's the broad stroke wording of this. Now, there's a lot of things in it that could have been really cool, but Bendis has a reputation for taking existing characters and changing their personalities during his story making and making them into completely different characters. Case in point, Carol Danvers.
See, I didn't see Carol Danvers as a different character. I saw her as a character that made a pretty hard choice. Well, let me preamble all this first, though, because there was a major section of the story that was technically missing. If you read the issues that came out as they were solicited, 1 through 8, you got most of a story. The unfortunate detail that a lot of people leave out is that Free Comic Book Day in 2016 had Civil War II number 0, which is actually an integral part of the story that a lot of people may have missed. True.
In fact, Civil War 0 started off with Jennifer Walters as She-Hulk doing her job as a legal defense attorney, defending the Jester.
Mm-hmm.
In this action, she's defending the Jester for making casual observations about something he could possibly do, basically a crime that he's fantasizing about. And apparently this crime happens, and the authorities arrest the people that do it, and they also arrest Jester.
Yeah, because the crime fit his M.O. at the time.
Right, but all he'd really done is spoken about it. So you could see we're already kind of getting the foreshadowing of what we're going to be dealing with Civil War II, which is basically Marvel's answer to Minority Report.
Right, but unfortunately for people who just follow whatever comes out of their comic book store at the time, they may not have realized that Zero is a necessary part of the story.
It really is.
It had the origin of Ulysses as an Inhuman. It had the kickoff event that really created the Second Civil War in Thanos raiding Project Pegasus for a cosmic cube, as well as the death of James Rhodes in the universe, which is the second or third time he's died, to my knowledge.
Well, James Rhodes didn't die in Zero.
Yeah, he did.
No, actually, he didn't. Trust me, I spent all afternoon reading it. I'll tell you what happened in Zero. Zero basically dealt with the law case involving Jester, and also involving, later after the fact, She-Hulk being told that Jester was killed in prison for basically being incarcerated for this job. And it also it showcased Captain Marvel being irritated that she can't be more proactive about stopping things. She wants to basically take it up a notch. And that's really where our narrative stops, and then sends it right into the first one.
No, I actually read Zero when it came out at Free Comic Book Day. I was standing in my local comic shop. And part of issue 0 was also the actual invasion by Thanos of Project Pegasus.
I don't talk about that, but Ulysses didn't really come into his own until Civil War 1, and for sure Rhodey was not killed until issue 1.
Well, no, he was killed in issue 0. I'm proof positive of that. Like I said, I got the Free Comic Book Day issue when it came out. And he was actually murdered by Thanos, and that's where you saw the first shot that injured the She-Hulk when she accidentally took the War Machine's chest in the midst of that battle. That wasn't what eventually put her down, but it started her road to injury.
Let's see here. I'm looking at my notes, because I took notes as I read Civil War.
Okay.
The notes as I was reading said, Civil War, we have the Celestial Destructor from the alternate universe. Doctor Strange, the other sorcerers banish it. Evil's punished. Later we find out the Inhumans have predicted it, and they say, hey, this is how we did it. They bring out Ulysses. And after they discover what his powers are, Tony and Carol are immediately at odds about how they could work with this info. They part ways after this little particular myth, and then Tony is in his shop, and he's approached by MJ. Well, an an AI version of MJ, which he was kind of acting kind of like.
No, that's Friday.
No, that's Friday.
Yeah. That's Friday. That's his AI. MJ is real. She is working for Tony Stark at the moment.
Well, going back to it, he calls her MJ, and she's a hologram. So maybe he's talking on the phone.
No. I just read it
here. I did read this.
I know, but Friday is not MJ. There were two women in the room. One was a hologram. One was MJ.
Okay, so now you're going to make me dig up my sources. That's where we're going with this now.
Okay. Friday's got short hair. MJ's got long hair.
No, I know that
one is red and
you're
the
insulting my intelligence at this point, sir.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just
saying. Okay.
Nerd arguments are the worst. Okay, so let's take a look because I have it on a CBR here.
Page 25.
Page 25.
Oh, I see where I got confused. Both of them were in frame.
Yes, both of them. Yeah.
The thing is, though, I always find stuff like that interesting because disagreements are where some of the best points and ideas come from.
Yeah, well,
I don't mind it because us discussing things is the only way we'll learn any fracking thing.
Yeah, and differing viewpoints gets all the rest of us talking.
But it was a different viewpoint.
Show a lot too.
I was wrong. It's very different.
Well, you weren't wrong though. I mean, it was a lot of narrative in issue 0. It's just unfortunately I'd mistaken 0 for FCBD. The Free Comic Book Day issue had the actual Thanos coming to Earth looking for Cosmic Cube. That's where Jennifer Walters was injured. That's the issue where Rhodey was killed. So it was 2 extra issues that were missing out of the narrative that nobody had. Now, I'm trying to think about where to begin. Issue 1 of the story, it wasn't really a setup. It was like a recap. It was like previously on the A-Team.
Yeah,
in a way.
Because it had everything that an 80s recap had. It had major story points, but it had almost no context behind any of it.
Right.
It
they just literally threw you directly into there. It was just kind of like, here we are already in combat, and I'm sitting there kind of wondering, okay, was this addressed previously? I don't read any of these titles, so I have no idea.
Yes, I thought that the Thanos thing was just a complete throwaway. It's like, oh, hey, we ran to Thanos, yay, next frame. And it's like, oh, this is not really important.
Right. Well,
yeah,
and then...
To their credit, at least they did tell the story, but they didn't actually solicit Free Comic Book Day's issue as necessary reading. They just gave you, hey, we're going to have a story in Free Comic Book Day that's never been in Marvel. Not, hey, if you want to understand what's going to happen in the next 3 years of Marvel, you're really going to need this.
Yeah, hey, we're going to injure a character and kill him off in this free book that you're probably not going to get your hands on.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Is it really necessary to the core of the story to see how the event played out, or is his death this really the trigger point to launch all of this?
I'd like
true.
to say... his death is obviously a triggering story, but I'd like to say it's necessary because to hear characters talk about it and get these minor flashbacks, you see these little things that happen, but at the same time, you don't know if that was a visionary story that happened. All you get is this weird talk about Rhodey's death, not the actual context behind it. It's like when... Actually, best example would be, it's like X-Men Days of Futures Past. We found out that Emma Frost and Banshee and all these other characters were killed, but only as kind of an ancillary note as other people are talking, so you have no real emotional connect to any of these people anymore.
Yeah, I didn't really like that either. They did that also to Azazel, which I thought they were going to give some kind of a payoff. Because you got Mystique in the story, you got Nightcrawler in the story, you got Azazel in the story. Boom, payoff, parents, let's talk about it. Nothing.
I mean, honestly, because I didn't realize, I didn't read either the Free Comic Book Day or just issue 0.
Well, realistically, who knew?
Well, yeah, and so that's the thing is, I didn't know that, so I didn't know I was lacking that, so from that standpoint, no, I didn't need to know all that. Would it have been interesting to know? Will I go back and look it up and actually read the events? Yes.
Probably, yeah.
I'm going to do it
probably
after
be preferable. And unfortunately, the FBCD issue was done by Daniel Chung, who's one of my favorite artists. Met the guy a couple times. Got one of his sketches for crying out loud.
Sounds familiar.
Daniel Chung. He was the one who did the first issues of Young Avengers, the very first ones.
Oh, I love his work.
Yes. I actually have a sketch of him of Uncanny X-Force Psylocke that I asked for.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jesse's met him, the Asian guy with the British accent.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember the details on that.
He's a double threat.
Do you remember when we talked to his wife for a long time? She started joking about my Mario costume. Yes, that's him and her. Yes. Sorry, tangented again. All these characters in issue 1 spent all this time analyzing Ulysses, and unless you read the preambles, you really don't know anything other than, hey, he's here, and his eyes just happen to be red when he sees something.
Yeah. Good luck, he's a Gambit clone.
Oh, eat me!
That's what I thought. It's like, Gambit showed up.
But I mean, Frack, as a fan of She-Hulk, I was glad later to find out that the issues I read were central, because if I just came in and found her lying in a hospital bed for no reason other than everyone says she was injured in some kind of attack, I would have been pissed.
Yes, that's what happened with me. I just saw her there. I have no context about what fucking Thanos did to her.
Yeah, well, and the fact that her initial injury was even caused by Rhodey accidentally.
Mm-hmm. When was it in the series that we found out that she was actually finished by Thanos? Because the way the FBCD
in that same
in
issue 3. In issue
3. Okay, I'm still flipping through issue 1. Because in Zero, yeah, it looked like the missile did it. Then you find out in the middle of this event, oh, well, the missile started it. She would have been okay, except, cosmic blast to the face and all.
And that also brings the tie-in for the fact that Thanos is looking for cosmic cubes, because we know that's going to be important now coming up, too.
Yeah, but that ties into the prior event, Salt and Pleasant Hill.
Mm.
He detected a cosmic cube that was being used on Earth because of the Shi'ar battlecruiser he invaded, for lack of a better word.
Right. Well, I was also talking about the preview picture that they showed with him holding up his fist with freaking...
the U.S. Avengers preview page, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cosmic gauntlet. I don't even know what to call those things.
Scary.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Pants-shittingly frightening.
Casey, have you been reading U.S. Avengers?
No, I haven't. What should I?
It's comic book camp. It is a U.S. themed Avengers team. It is kind of fun reading for the sake of just entertainment, but at the end of issue 1, they had a preview page, and one of those pages had Thanos with gauntlets that the people at Newsarama couldn't identify, because instead of any sort of oval gems, they seem to have square things jammed in the knuckles and in the back of the hand. They couldn't figure out what it was, and I just stared at it and said, I think that's Thanos with cosmic cube gauntlets?
Yeah, cosmic shards?
No, not shards. They were square. They were straight squares. So either he has multiple cosmic cubes jammed into his gloves, or he took one, segmented it, and accessorized.
I think he took multiple.
Complete gloves of this stuff.
Yeah, 2 gauntlets with cosmic cubes in them. Plural.
I'm done. Take me to another universe where I can hide.
I know.
No, you can't escape it.
That is a point where you just want to say, eternity, take me away.
I, for one, welcome our new warlord.
But in the second issue, things picked up a little bit, but only because Tony Stark got impatient. He needed to find out more about Ulysses in the immediate, because he wasn't sure about the accuracy of Ulysses' predictions.
So what does he do? He sneaks into a Tillin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he does what...
a nation of superpowers.
I know. He does what any moral and ethical, upstanding superhero would do, and he stages a kidnapping.
And torture. I didn't torture him. He totally tortured me. A little.
It was heroic. Sure.
It was more or less, well, Torture was sitting there and talking to him apparently for 5 minutes. It was pretty much a
flick him
long...
in the face and threatened to punch him.
It was just a long scanning session, but at the end of the second issue is when we got our first actual I guess you could say, mass event, which was nothing more than Ulysses projecting his vision of the Hulk, Bruce Banner's Hulk, killing everybody.
Yeah, and we mean
I
everybody.
have to derail us just for a second again, though, because what was the particular hatred between Stark and what's his name? The guy that can break things.
Karnak. Oh, I love that. I love how he's gushing over him.
Hate? I'm sorry?
No, there was extreme hatred between the two of them. Like, literally, as soon as he walked up and he's like, oh, Karnak. And he's just immediately, Stark! And just starts charging into battle. It was like, wait, what?
Well, Karnak has his own title, and apparently he has issues with more than one hero.
Well, Karnak doesn't like anybody who isn't Inhuman in general, and even when they are Inhuman, he's kind of standoffish. If I had to characterize him modernly, the current version of him is somewhere between Shaolin Monk and Bruce Lee on a bender.
Because, I mean,
he hates
and
Spider-Man
immediately,
too.
as soon as he kidnaps Ulysses, here's Karnak ready to tear down the entire Stark Tower in reprisal. It just seemed more personal.
Okay, well, it's not personal. See, Karnak has no regard for anybody that isn't an Inhuman. In other words, to him, there are Inhumans, then there's chaff. There's Queen Medusa, then there's I don't give a shit. You know, if it means a few human lives to save, if it means a few thousand human lives to save one Inhuman, humans are screwed.
Oh, hello, Namor.
Pretty much. So it's not personal.
It's not personal. It's
It's drive. It is 100% unethical drive.
Gotcha.
Well, on the flip side, I love how Tony was kind of gushing over how he's like, can pinpoint all these structural weaknesses and whatever, anything.
Yeah. That's Karnak's ability. He finds the weakness in all things given enough time. And Stark, to his credit, says he doesn't have any, although I would just counter with he just hadn't given Karnak enough time yet.
Well, that and the fact that, that it was a decoy that was meant to explode. So, yeah, go ahead and exploit the fact that I'm going to suicide bomb you.
I am very grateful that David Marquez, when he drew the Hulk rampaging, that he put a shadow over the groin of naked Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice that evil homicidal Hulk was balls out.
Surrounded by fire, yet there's one helpful shadow.
Yeah, I did not notice that. It was generated by his thigh. The fire light source was coming from that direction, I guess.
I've already seen blue piece. I don't need to see green.
Yeah. This reminds me of an old story. This reminds me of an old story involving Doctor Strange's villain Umar, which is the sister to Dormammu, who takes a shine to Hulk and basically starts a very physical affair. So, I mean, you've got this wayfish girl and Hulk and probably a donkey-sized penis hanging off of him. And I'm just trying to figure out the logistics, and then I realize, oh, that's right. This is Dormammu's sister. No problem.
Just you giving me that imagery, all I can imagine is some poor pharmacist. Yes, can I help you? Hulk have burns, need cream. I think we have something for chlamydia in aisle 6. Not those burns. Oh. Aisle 4.
Fucking Umar. All right, moving on.
I'm just sitting here going, is he being punished again, or?
All I know is that.
Go ahead.
It was an interesting story, and I don't know really which issue it is. I think it's probably during the World War Hulk stuff. But yeah, Hulk definitely got his swerve on with an extra-dimensional demon woman.
Gotcha.
Coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2020.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to issue 3, because issue 3 probably had the most important events of the entire story, but they were told in a non-linear fashion, which irritated the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the first couple pages... Well, the first couple pages involved a trial for what? And then it wasn't until issue 3 that you actually see Bruce Banner's face. So you've got past and current storytelling kind of intermixed here in a very unhelpful fashion to me.
I could see if I wasn't going to immediately read the next issue like I was, how it would be annoying having to kind of wait to figure out what the hell's going on. But
you know what? I think I might have. I was so okay with this because I already knew the outcome of it because of previous podcasts. So I might have had to.
Yeah. Well, we had conversations about the major events because I was reading it as it came out.
Yeah. So you probably had more clean, take of it.
Possibly, I felt for Clint Barton because it's one of those cases where he did wrong, but he really thought he was doing right.
He was doing something that was forced upon him. It's one of those, hey man, I need you to kill me. Man, I can't do that. You're my friend, right? All right. He's in that situation.
I know.
Well,
and
I just loved how he basically told him, I'm coming to you for this because you're one of the only people I know that would eventually be okay with this. Not that you would just be like, oh yeah, I get to kill Bruce Banner, but just, I know you're going to suffer for this, but eventually you'll be okay.
You'll get over it, yeah.
I know. It's kind of sad that as many characters are standing in front of Bruce Banner and said he was upset, but he wasn't transforming. For Clint Barton to be, it looks like over 150 yards away in a tree, says his eyes flash green, so I fired the arrow, is the legal equivalent of, look out, Ned, he's coming straight at us.
Yes, he was definitely coming right for us.
Actually, I'm zooming in on a frame where, right before Banner gets shot. When his pupils dilate, it's a very, very faint green.
And that's what you're led to believe. You know what? The colorist was probably the one guy getting the most pressured as you, going, motherfucker, you better put green in there in a way that no one else can see it, but then they can see it. You know what I'm talking, motherfucker? Do that!
The thing is, though, when you take a good look at that panel, that that supposed green light in his eye is the same color as the light that's reflected in his eyes.
Yeah, I noticed that, too.
Yeah,
so there is no guarantee as to what happened because his eyes, for the most part, are still brown, and when he hulks out, those irises go bright jade.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pupils.
You're left with a Gwen Stacy scenario. You hope to God the hero isn't really at fault, but you just don't know.
I know, and to Barton's credit, Bruce Banner did task him, gave him that depleted gamma arrow just in case he ever went out of control. Here's the perfect weapon to kill me. Mm-hmm. But it was one of those cases where there was really no sign that he had transformed. You usually have a given amount of time before that little scrawny guy turns into the 8-footer.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the arrow itself was green and purple?
Yes. Yeah. Banner was way too much into his color coding.
The image of Banner laying there, hole through the head, with the tear trickling down was just like, yeah.
I know. We went from South Park to where the red fern grows all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it was sad, but as I'm sure most people would know just reading the issue, as you eventually find out, it's a justifiable homicide, as most people would find it. It's the same kind of decision cops have to make on a larger scale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If that shot is taken with a reasonable amount of indication that you're saving lives, then it's justified.
Right.
But it's still going to piss people off because it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation.
Well, and they wouldn't have been in the situation, which is why Iron Man was so upset. They wouldn't have been in the situation if, they left well enough alone and didn't believe the visions.
Well, again, Ulysses was relatively new as a precog, and it's hard to tell how accurate it is. Later on in the series is when we find out that Ulysses' powers aren't based on anything mathematical. He's more or less a cosmic barometer.
Based on mathematical.
According to Tony Stark.
Yes.
He's an algorithm. He's a conduit for energies that are already happening, and they're just pushing through him, but they are affected by him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the more horrible stuff he sees, the more likely he's going to foresee horrible outcomes.
Right.
Like any traumatized individual.
Yeah, and that of course, that leads me to the end and my thoughts on the end, which we'll get to in just a moment.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the fact that, his visions do start having holes in them.
Yeah. The fourth issue?
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm a Marvel Comics reader because there were so many things that happened in the fourth issue that make... They allude to a bunch of stuff, they talk to certain characters who disappear for the rest of the damn event.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes for the Civil War read that I did, and I look at issue 2, and I've got like 3 lines of dialogue, but I have 3 lines that I wrote are important. I get to issue 4, and I got 12 lines. Yeah. A lot of shit happened in 4. You got She-Hulk coming out of her coma. She finds out Bruce, number 1, is dead, and number 2, Hawkeye killed him. What the fuck?
He got acquitted.
Yeah, and then of course we find out that, Ulysses is obviously the conduit for the visions themselves. This brain absorbs data and energies of the world, and he basically spits it out as visions, and that he's essentially an algorithm of math guesswork. We got Captain A, still in Hydra mode, and the rest confronting Tony about his findings. But then when they all find out everything is okay, the whole situation, Carol is still okay with the margin of error. She leaves through the roof for whatever reason.
Yeah, she takes a total Clark Kent in reverse on that one.
Right, and then...
way out, straight line.
And then she goes and deals with what is perceived to be Ulysses' first fuck-up, which he says, hey, this woman is going to be on the steps of this particular building. She's going to have a bomb. Shit's going to go fucking everywhere. Carol and S.H.I.E.L.D. show up. They find the woman. They find the briefcase. They open it up. Nothing's fucking in it.
Yeah, and I will say, when the woman disappeared in purple smoke, there were several thoughts that occurred to me all at once. Oh my god, maybe he was right. Oh my god, she transformed into crazy purple knockout gas.
Yep, that was my thought.
Or, oh my god, she's transforming into something meaner. The basic answer of Nightcrawler got her out with his trademark teleportation did not occur to me until I got to the last page.
Yeah, no. As soon as they said, it's Nightcrawler, I smell the brimstone, I was just like, oh, thank God, because I thought she just went splat.
And of course, this starts our first real physical confrontation, because you got Tony going, I can't believe you still incarcerated this woman, even though she had nothing in her briefcase and there was nothing wrong with her whatsoever. You still incarcerated her. I'm going to fucking free her. And Carol and her crew is like, no, you're not going to free her because we don't know what the hell's going on. And then shit goes wrong, start going at it, and Carol says, well, you know what? Fuck y'all, and brings in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, and I have to say, if I didn't dislike Maria Hill so much, I'd probably feel a little more sorry for her, because she has a shitstorm on her hands, like, every single issue following this one. It's just like, it's how much government property can we blow up? Yay, let's find out.
On that splash page for issues 23 and 24, when Danvers is pointing her finger and Hill is in the middle, I'm sure half of her thought process is, gonna need another deck for this fucking thing.
You're gonna need a new building afterwards.
Maria Hill is basically in 2 modes. Number 1, I am the authority. I am S.H.I.E.L.D. We get to do all this stuff. And the other mode is, fuck, I hope I get to contain whatever horse shit is about to happen.
Not to mention the fact that, given our new knowledge of how much she hates Henry McCoy, the fact that he has joined the Attillans probably makes for some interesting diplomacy issues.
Well, let me say there were a couple of things in issue 4 that irritated me. Number 1, again, Marquez, beautiful art. He makes everything look incredible. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the issue, when the Guardians appear, if I didn't read the tie-ins when Carol asked for help, that would have been the point where I would have sat up in my reading chair and just went, "The hell happened?"
That's only because I knew she was part of their team and they were friends, and
she was part of the team, but this is far removed. If Kitty Pryde is on the team in the Thing, this means this is well after Captain Marvel's stint.
I know, but
right. For all intents and purposes, she's still a member.
Friends, at the very least.
Still, they may have been friends, but you never see the call. I read Guardians of the Galaxy because that's where I saw when she put out the call, when she asked for help.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. But
I did find it amusing, the conversation with Tony Stark and Star-Lord.
Yeah.
But
further, I'm sorry, to keep it in issue 4 for a little bit longer, the other thing that really kind of irked me was how little attention they paid to She-Hulk when she came out of her coma. She's scarred up. She's still really well injured. And for some reason, her eyes are black with bright green irises, like she's already upset, even though nothing's happened to her yet. So when she wakes up, Carol Danvers is at her bedside, and Danvers has to be the one to tell her, face to face, that not only is your cousin dead, but the guy you had the big sister little brother relationship with on the Avengers is the guy who shoved an arrow through his eyes.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see that reaction. Jennifer Walters is never seen again in the rest of the Civil War.
You got 4 issues of, okay, whatever.
Well, not to mention the fact that she was in that building. She was downstairs.
Yeah. And she got to play Laura from General Hospital in her 3rd coma of the week.
Except for the fact that we already know she's injured and everything else, and then the very next issue, the entire building blows up. And no one even bothers to say, did we get everybody out?
That's Jennifer. Jennifer's job in Civil War, as far as the narrative goes, was only one thing, and that was to put a fire under Carol's ass and to steal her resolve about what she was doing. That's it.
Yeah, and I got to say, in the beginning of issue 5, I almost felt sorry for that news helicopter when Drax went flying by.
Yeah, issue 5 could really be just called Fight. That's my notes. Fight.
Well, the other thing is, though, when I saw that initially, I was laughing because I wasn't picturing Drax just going, and he was punched. What I was picturing was something like out of Looney Tunes. You know, Yosemite Sam gets hit with a hammer and all of a sudden you hear, Ragga-fraggan,
what I did have one takeaway from the big old fight of everybody just being all cranky pants was Venom seeing Miles Morales for the first time and never knowing who the hell this guy is. You can tell, number one, from his voice and his body language, you are definitely not Spider-Man. How dare you wear his costume? And, quote, fighting for something that goes against his entire deal. And, of course, Miles Morales gives him one of those electronic little jolts from his hand, and he goes, great, I've got another spider expert telling me what to do. Well, enjoy my Venom blast. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, Blast Thompson is a huge Spider-Man fanboy, so...
He is.
There was a lot of great interpersonal interactions here in issue 5, which was the fight porn, more or less, of most of the series, or most of the event.
I don't read a lot of these, so, I know who Nova is.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who the
Blue Marvel,
Blue Marvel was. And he's sitting there fighting with Cage, and saying, I've got all these degrees, and again, I would have answered the same way Cage did without the sneak attack on there, but just basically, no, your knowledge of this stuff makes no difference to me because you don't know how this works. Stark is the only one that's examined it. So, no, your scientific, knowledge and whatnot means jack diddly squat. But the fact that he was also apparently a Nova and possibly a mentor to the kid Nova was kind of interesting.
Blue Marvel, he's an echo of a very older character they kind of brought into continuity and then made a character in the Mighty Avengers, which is Marvel's heavily minority Avengers team.
Was, until that franchise was shuttered when several of the characters were pulled into other books. Now he's an Ultimate.
Yeah. A lot of those are in the Ultimates now. Monica, Captain America. I do enjoy the fact that Monica Rambeau's outfit looks like a Captain Marvel outfit.
Yeah.
It's black and white.
Actually, it's a variation on our Next Wave outfit, if I remember correctly. But I will say that the Blue Marvel, they took one of the original Marvel characters who didn't have much of an origin, and I don't know who, but somebody gave him an origin and turned him into an African American. The storyline they gave him was that he was a major hero in the 60s. He was one of those rockin' 60s super scientists who had a lab accident and developed all these weird abilities, in addition to having his multiple PhDs. He's what would have happened if, Dr. Jonas Venture actually gave a shit about his life. But, they added this whole thing where the Blue Marvel, even in his original designs, he was a head-to-toe costume. You never saw his face. And when he finally felt like he did enough for the country and was confident in himself, he revealed himself to the president as an African-American, and the president convinced him to hang up the cape and go underground because the country was not ready to have an African-American superhero saving the world. The civil rights movement at the time was just kicking off. African-Americans were getting large amounts of abilities as people. And he was just afraid that finding out that there was a superpowered black person would have really tipped the balance in an unfavorable way and just changed the narrative. So they created this very metatextual conversation around the character that I feel like they've given him a good origin point, but they should really dig a little deeper into what he did before he came out of retirement.
I wonder if that was Nixon that did that, because Nixon was a big racist asshat.
Actually, I believe it was Kennedy at the time.
63?
I don't remember the exact dates. Kennedy was beginning a civil rights movement before he was assassinated, then it fell to Lyndon B. Johnson to finish it.
Right.
Oh my God, we just got all historical and stuff.
We did.
Magic showing up Sam Wilson without raising her blade. Oh my God.
That was like perfect. It's not a boy-girl thing.
It's whatever. Zap.
I know. Welcome to Hollywood.
Fuck.
Actually, I was more interested in the what page is this one on? 11. Where you guys see a lot of people who are just abstaining from the fight because they aren't sure where to fall in line. You got Matt Murdock. I think that's supposed to be Peter Parker.
It is Peter Parker. It's Matt Murdock, and I don't know who's that third person.
That's Mary Jane.
It is Mary Jane. Okay.
And then there's Hawkeye, who's conflicted of him walking away from killing Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the other two also have good reasons not to get involved. You know, Matt Murdock just got involved in the trial of the century very publicly, and half these people know his secret identity. And then Peter Parker, he's protecting a multinational corporation right now.
And he's already dealt with his angle on the Civil War, which is he got exposed to Ulysses. Ulysses' very presence caused this bullshit vision where one of his employees went back to villainy. And what happened if Ulysses wasn't even there? Mm-hmm. So he's like, you know what? I don't think we really need you here at Parker Industries. See ya. But he was on Carol Danvers' side. But he was on Carol Danvers' side long enough to tell her, listen, I believe what you're doing. I back it. But as soon as it gets stupid, I'm going to be the person that's telling you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, he would be on Carol Danvers' side only because he's been in a situation where it's like he knew something was going to go wrong and he wished he had the chance to undo a mistake.
Yeah, but it's almost a good thing they kept Peter Parker out of it because the storyline ended up revolving a lot around Miles Morales in the second half.
Yeah.
There may have been too many spiders at that time if they allowed Parker to be a major part of it.
I think that if they put Miles Morales against his mentor, which that would have happened, it would have hurt the narrative.
You know what I
Well, it also would have. I'm sorry.
The whole fight and whatnot, and they showed Angela there, but they had her do no fighting.
Yeah, but I was going to say that the other thing that would have happened if Peter Parker actually took a side, which probably would have been the opposite side from Miles, it may have invalidated Miles' current Spider-Man run, the series itself. A lot of people would have had to pick one or the other, and given who reads comic nowadays, the black kid would have ended up on the outs.
I really love Miles Morales' title. I'm actually going to catch up with it tonight.
Okay. Well, the whole fight ended because Ulysses had another one of his projected visions. In this case, he suddenly predicted that Miles Morales will stand on the ruined Capitol steps with an impaled Captain America in his hand.
Yep.
Well, when I say Captain, I should say Steve Rogers. There is more than one Captain America.
He had bloody hands, and Steve Rogers was laying impaled on the ground. I don't think he was actually touching Rogers.
He
had Rogers by the shirt.
Yeah, which you do after you've kicked somebody's ass. That's not a cradling thing when you fist somebody's shirt in your hand and pull them up by it, which is the position he was in.
Yeah, he wasn't cradling his body. He had him in the just whooped your ass position.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
And that turned into the impetus for the second half of the series, which wasn't a bad turning point for it, considering up until issue 4, we had a really broken narrative happening here.
Yeah.
Or actually, that was issue 5. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, they added an issue onto this about halfway through its run.
Right.
They announced that it went to 8 at that point. Oh, well, the major delay was David Marquez had a son.
Right.
He had a child.
Well,
yeah. I'm not saying it wasn't justified. I was just saying that there were delays due to.
Yeah.
He had to spawn.
Where in the midst of all this did the Guardians lose their ship?
right at the end of the fight.
Yeah, in the middle of the fight, Vision was trying to hit Kitty Pryde, phased through her, and blew up their ship.
Okay.
God damn it, Vision. He's a fucking menace in the show, in the movie, and in the comics.
He needs to go to the Cyclops School of Mental Blast.
Have you read his actual comic?
No, I haven't.
You have to read that.
You need to read that.
Why?
That was a very...
What am I missing out on?
You will come to a new appreciation of Vision you never thought you had before, and he will do nothing right throughout the entirety of 12 issues.
Yeah.
I swear.
That's not good.
No, it's a Shakespearean tragedy. It's awesome.
It's very
he's never been a
humanizing.
father, and he decided to make his own family.
Yeah.
It's a very humanizing story for him.
And you have to read the Vision before you read the Champions.
Yes.
I've already read the Champions, so I already know about Violet. Is that her name?
Viv.
Thanks.
Oh, the Vision story will tell you where she came from.
Yeah.
And the dog.
And the dog.
Yeah, issue 6. What the frick, man? It wasn't just dialogue heavy, it was more or less exposition via superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically what we start off with is Tony is now arguing with Carol again. This time he's saying, you're turning on the kids now? Because Carol is trying to convince Miles to come with her. You know, she's basically arresting him for shit he has not done. Totally.
I'm sure her actual phrase would have been protective custody had she actually thought about it, but even then, it's essentially, yeah, he would have no freedoms after that.
Well, they've all just come down from a, brawl for all fight to, like, holy shit, what the hell?
Well, I guess you could say this issue is important because it starts to draw the lines that will come out post-Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
You see the decisions that begin the Champions. You see certain characters who at this point have decided whether or not they're going to continue being Avengers, and a few things change. They argue a lot. That's basically the story here in issue 6. But I will say that page number 11, that top panel, was anybody else thinking, oh my god, when did Coolio become the Black Panther?
Oh.
The way his mask is unraveling looks like ugly-ass dreads.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
I blinked several times when I read that. I'm just like, what the hell did they do to his hair? Oh, that's not hair!
What is it?
It's his mask coming undone. He's got some kind of... we just recently read The Black Panther as well, and his mask actually kind of comes apart.
Have you seen...
Have
you played Mass Effect?
Nanotech or something.
His helmet pulls an Iron Man. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That would be a good...
Gotcha.
Right. But it's not quite so armored. It's more like threads
Skin
or
tight.
something. Yeah.
So
it's a vibranium weave.
So a quick recap. What we got now is Carol still wants to arrest him, even after Tony has basically said, okay, Thor, take his kid home. No, we're not doing that. Carol's like, no, fuck you. I want to arrest you. And we're going to have another fight. And then Dr. Strange pulls a fast one.
Well,
because facial hair bros.
Yeah. Well, no, but also Cap basically said, no, we're not doing this. And up until that point, he had been kind of...
watching things happen.
Yeah.
He'd been the bastard manipulating this whole thing behind the scenes almost since Go.
And if you haven't watched, read Captain America, like I haven't, you're like, why the fuck is Steve so fucking quiet?
Yeah.
I know. He's so calm and collected through this whole thing. He is the voice of reason that got Bruce Banner killed and, started creating all these visions that were creating havoc.
Now kind of wondering what was going through his head after that vision of Miles Morales killing him.
Hail Hydra.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. It's like
he was too busy hailing Hydra.
Response actually to that.
He was probably trying to figure out how can I manipulate this situation.
Yeah. Actually, he did talk about that in I think issue 5 or 6 of Steve Rogers' Captain America, where he basically said when he saw Miles Morales on the steps of the Capitol, he said he has to go there anyway. His helper Eric Selvig said you can't do that. Hydra needs you. And Roger's explanation was basically that everything he's done for Hydra, and if this is what must be done to further assist Hydra's goal, this is what he'll do.
Good old Steve.
So I think this is his way of saying, I'm going to prolong this whole bitch fest that all these superheroes are having.
Steve is hurting my feelings. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
He's really hurting my feelings with this.
I will say that Marquez and Bendis did add some pathos there on page 17 of issue 6 when, Peter Quill is basically telling Carol that she's not being wrong for following her instincts and trying to save people, and then there's Kitty Pryde behind them with an obvious discontent look on her face.
During the hug. At all behind this.
Yeah.
I thought it was more the fact that he was sitting there hugging onto another woman while she's standing there.
Well, there may be some complicated issues in regards to what's going on to her, because after all, when you start putting people away for things they didn't do, she may be reminded of her own Jewish heritage.
Yeah.
And, of course, like Kitty does with every single one of her relationships, she just totally kills it.
God. Yeah, you're right. If it made one of them gay.
Yeah, she dated Iceman, and she did
two of them gay. Wow.
Yeah, she got Peter
and Colossus.
Well, didn't you know that's how young Iceman turned gay? He saw Kitty Pryde dating his adult self and said, "Fuck it, I'm into boys."
Yep.
Yeah.
I am a bit curious how the Thing and Flash Thompson are, dealing with all this, but I guess that's
obviously they're going to quit the Guardians of the Galaxy. Apparently,
Flash Thompson lost the Venom symbiote to a street thug.
Really?
I think Flash gave it up, and the Thing is currently trying to beat up Iron Man Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, let me just say that the new Venom book, which issue 3 just came out this week, is complete shit. I mean, it's garbage. From issue 1, I'm so edgy, I'm an ex-soldier hitman, and I'm super badass, and now I have the Venom symbiote. We're back in the 90s. He's an embarrassment of a character. The whole series is just garbage, and I'm trying to wait for it to self-destruct so it can actually go back to something decent.
Okay, well,
good to know.
We've taken this nice little side trip. It's also towards the end of issue 6 where you find out how much a lot of this is weighing on Carol. She's not existing in a vacuum, similar to how Tony Stark was written in the first Civil War. She actually has recriminations about what she's done, but it's a question of, if I go further, will it all be justified?
Right, and then she's found by her A-Force teammates. They're here, of course, to tell her that Miles has been found.
Wait, that's not A-Force.
Yeah.
That's Maria Hill, Star-Lord, Storm, and Jean Grey.
Oh, that's Star-Lord. Okay.
I thought there was Medusa, Storm.
No, that's Jean Grey.
That was Jean Grey?
Yeah. Medusa's hair is a lot longer. Because she said she was looking out into the city, basically telling herself that, this existed because of what she did, and she's like, stop reading my mind, and she's like, I wasn't.
Yeah, that's young Jean Grey on the Extraordinary X-Men. Not one of those is an A-Forcer.
Okay. Now that shows you.
Actually, I
was going through some kind of fatigue when I read that page.
I didn't see any of the A-Force in this other than She-Hulk.
Medusa.
Oh, and that's true.
Yeah, Storm's not an A-Forcer.
She's not. God damn it! I give up my card.
Biggest question I have about A-Force is what's going to happen to Singularity now that series is closed.
Oh,
They're opening up a new series.
I hope so, but that hasn't been alluded to so far. The issue 10 was our final issue with a letter of goodbye by the creator.
If you read the letter of goodbye, they talk about the fact that this is not the end of A-Force. Yeah, well, they don't tell you, hey, we're doing this next month like they usually do when they're rebooting books. It's very clear that they want to do more with A-Force, and I guess they're just going to try to reboot it.
Well,
so sell bigger books,
I don't know, because I discussed that with the guys when A-Force closed and Civil War was still going on, in that narratively Civil War 2 pretty much destroyed A-Force. Half of the members were literally fighting with each other.
Yeah, and it probably made a lot more sense to fold up the book for at least a little bit, wait for the dumb shit to fall out, and then rebuild it, put maybe some cooler teammates in it, but keep Dazzler because she looked awesome.
Now, issue 7 of Civil War 2 started off on kind of a WTF moment. I mean, there's Miles Morales on the steps, but all of a sudden we see Ulysses talking to the Old Man Logan timeline.
Right.
Yes. Just as Old Man Logan wastes one of the Hulks.
Which is obviously post the time where he killed Bruce Banner in that storyline.
Yeah.
So, obviously, if Bruce Banner was alive in that storyline, then, yeah, what's going on here?
Well, that's one of those things that muddied the story that Bendis had put together here, because now I'm not sure if Ulysses is actually seeing futures, or if he's seeing probable futures, or if he's seeing alternative futures. Or if he's seeing alternative futures.
Right.
If he's having a vision of Old Man Logan from the Old Man Logan storyline, which is still intact, because the Old Man Logan in Marvel... well, that could be a guy from a different universe that mirrors the original version.
Right.
So, all of a sudden I have the question of, what is Ulysses actually seeing, ever?
I think Ulysses is actually seeing the energy of the universe sending him messages about what his eventual destiny is to be. But, I mean, the whole Old Man Logan things, I think it's really just foreshadowing about what Captain Marvel is going to do to Tony in the last issue.
Well, I just wish Ulysses' powers...
And the fact that the Inhumans will leave Earth.
Yeah, well, I just wish that Ulysses' powers didn't constantly look like he was about to grab a Japanese schoolgirl every time he uses them. All those energy tendrils.
Ulysses, the way he behaves in each issue, it's very clear they're trying to showcase, hey, his power is growing and growing and growing, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, honestly, Ulysses' journey was the least interesting part of Civil War.
Yeah.
He was definitely just a story device. I mean, a character like that can't exist long-term in Marvel when he sees and knows all.
He was really boring to me. I didn't really care what happened to him.
He was not a good creation.
When he was first introduced, I felt sorry for him. But yeah, his personality was very underdeveloped. It was all just apologies and a plot device, really.
Yeah. The knockdown drag-out that Captain Marvel and Tony Stark in the Hulkbuster-sized war machine was pretty impressive.
Yeah. I thought that was a nice twist of the knife that he painted it in War Machine's colors.
Now, this is what I was talking about at the very beginning when we were talking about this. Tony really loses his shit in this frame. I mean, he's obviously enraged, just out of fucking nowhere. He's screaming shit about, you've gone too far. Now I brought this giant Hulk thing. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Well, we could have just had a nice conversation on Capitol Hill and kept our shit together. No.
See,
Tony brought the tank.
I wondered about that, and I don't know if that's bad writing or I don't know if Stark already had a plan.
I don't know.
Because he will sometimes appear to be completely out of his mind just to throw somebody into a plan or an action that he's hoping will come out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
after all, I'm going to say, I think he was prepared for something to happen because he had already sent the AI version of himself to Riri Williams to help her build a new armor.
Yeah, I think his plan was to cause something to happen there to kind of snap Danvers out of it. That was his plan. He was just like, you know what, I'm willing to sacrifice myself here to make her realize that, she's going too far.
Maybe.
Well, the thing is, though,
the thing that I really was disappointed with was at the end with Beast's exposition, but I don't think we've quite gotten there yet.
No.
Not quite. I mean, at the end of it all, Tony Stark is in an unknowable and apparently irretrievable coma at this point. Several characters have had individual visions of different events that have either already happened in different universes or are going to happen very soon, like Age of Ultron, Monsters Unleashed, potentially another future involving Days of Futures Past. Killraven was an interesting pull. Bendis is obsessed with Killraven for some reason.
Man, Killraven is such a weird-ass fucking title. That's actually one of those titles I picked up when I was a kid because it was really big during the late 70s, early 80s. And it was just a bizarre fucking title.
Yeah, well, Ulysses thankfully just left the regular Marvel universe for the Marvel Cosmic. He can stay there or whatever. He was not a good creation.
Which one is the one that came and picked him up, though? Was that High Evolutionary, or...?
That was Eternity.
Oh,
yeah. Basically saying, oh, hey, you're Cosmic.
Yeah, apparently Tony Stark has been experimenting on himself at the genetic level, which is usually outside his expertise, but okay. The one thing I liked about Beast's exposition, though, was that he finally figured out from the information in Stark's journals was that he had no actual beef with Captain Marvel.
See, that was the information I was missing, and that was the reason why I had an issue with what Beast said at the end, because I didn't realize he was reading through Tony's journals, so for him to just be like, okay, I'm not going to mention this to you while we're having all these huge arguments and everything else, but by the way, Tony wasn't really against you. I didn't realize that he realized that from reading Stark's journals.
Well, he didn't implicitly say it, but he had a ton of information on Stark, and to put it succinctly, Henry McCoy is one of Tony Stark's oldest friends since they were both Avengers. And he basically came down to the conclusion that Stark did trust Danvers to do what she was doing. What he didn't trust was who may come after Carol Danvers to use Ulysses' abilities. Who may come with an agenda after hers. Will Ulysses' powers be controlled by some weird governmental body or some other hero who doesn't make as good of decisions as she does?
And I thought that whole thing was really a part of, okay, we've got to rescue Carol's reputation from this book because we cannot do what we did to Iron Man to her. Because that Marvel really fucked up in the original Civil War. They actually damaged Iron Man's reputation so much that it impacted the sales of his book.
I understand they damaged his reputation on large, which may be what they were trying to avoid here, but in both this book and the other one, even though there are characters I disagree with their motivations, I understand them. I understand why both Tony Stark did what he did in the original Civil War as well as what Carol Danvers did in this one.
Yeah.
They're just trying to protect people. That's all they're trying to do. And it may not be my personal decision, but I can't say I demonize them for it.
No, I can't say that I demonize them for it, but I would definitely take Stark's thing. I mean, there were too many unknowns with this guy's powers to sit there and base other people's lives, livelihoods, reputations, and everything else on something they might do.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. It's one of those stories that if you remove the binary story of good and evil, it reads better, but a lot of people don't have that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And the epilogue was also kind of unsatisfying because I do believe that Marvel meant this event to be a major turning point for their books, which it really is. However, it falls into the same role that Convergence fell into with DC for me. It feels more like the event was nothing more than a stepping stone to get them to a new place.
Mm.
Yeah. And to take Tony Stark out of the picture somehow without killing him.
Well, I mean, we've had discussions on the show several times. Death is not a terrible thing in comics, even though a lot of people don't like it. But sometimes the only way to actually remove a character and stop people from asking, well, why didn't this person fix it, is, to kill them for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did with Tony Stark. The Marvel Universe has not existed without Tony Stark for a decent period of time. Usually he's only gone for a few months before he decides, you know what, I really like being Iron Man, give me that back.
Yeah, and it's very clear that's what's going on here, because all he did was say, okay, well, he's really hurt, but he's so modified, I can't do anything with it, so we're just going to put him in this casket for a while, and we'll figure it out.
Until I can figure out exactly what he's done to himself and feel more comfortable mucking about with him.
Or until he decides to return to take on The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
What is it? Everybody wants to take on The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'll never understand that.
Because nobody wants to do it at SmackDown. But, it's... I guess the good way to epilogue this whole thing is if you decide to skip Civil War II and just continue reading the characters you want to read, you're really not going to miss anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you may be curious about how things got to the direction that they got to, but I don't know that it's really... I mean, flipping through the 8 issues isn't really going to do you any harm. I don't know that it's really going to answer any burning questions you have either.
No, it may not do you much harm, but it's not going to do you much good.
Yeah,
yeah, you're not reading Venom, for God's sakes.
Well...
Sorry. Go ahead, Jesse. There's 3 wells in there.
Yeah, no, I was coughing, but I was thinking about this series left a massive gaping wound in the Marvel Universe, and it is a setup for a lot of series to come afterwards.
Mm-hmm. It is, and I understand. I really do understand that there's only so many ways you can tell sweeping stories where armadas are invading the Earth, and that's how heroes die. It's happened so many times in comics, it's almost its own cliche at this point. It is just... There could have been more work here. They could have made a more focused storyline within these 8 issues, because unless you've read the tie-in issues in a number of different books, there's major gaps of storyline here. You don't understand how much Steve Rogers manipulated a lot of behind-the-scenes events. You don't know how Carol Danvers reached out for help and even fought with her own Alpha Flight teammates and then eventually called the Guardians of the Galaxy. You don't even know where the X-Men fall on this, because they had their own separate mini-series regarding this. And the X-Men fought amongst themselves before they decided where they landed on it. So there's important things that happen, and there's too many tie-in issues where they tried to fill it in.
Mm-hmm. And this is normally the thing I accuse DC doing with a lot of their books. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was really unexpected to find it here in Marvel, but here it is.
It was a bad narrative choice, and this is one of those books where I can't say I recommend this to people. Marquez's art, loved it incredibly, and I get where Brian Michael Bendis is going, but for me, this is one of his misses. This did not come together well. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter to me if you're a new comics reader or an old one. This really isn't anything that's required reading or is even going to help you understand the series that came afterwards.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I think it will help explain what happened to some of the series afterwards, but
I'm hoping that the series that follow afterwards themselves will give you a brief synopsis of how it got to this point.
Well, they would almost have to.
Yeah.
The Hulk did for sure. The Champions was more expositionary. It's kind of interesting to see everyone rally around Miss Marvel as a leader. I have not read Occupy Avengers yet, though I've been meaning to.
Can we talk about the random appearance of Power Pack in Civil War Choosing Sides number 4?
I didn't read it.
I did. That was... okay, so I haven't really seen Power Pack in real Marvel continuity in years. And all I ever seen is Alex Power in like Fantastic Four. So I had to guess, okay, so I guess the other kids are around, but I don't know how old they are, I don't know what they're doing.
Up until recently, the most recent appearance was Lightspeed as a friend to the light projecting member of the Runaways.
Right, and they have a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's established in this that Julie is actually 16, but she's so fucking smart. She's already in college. So Jack and Katie are visiting her, and they've all aged basically 5 years from the Power Pack series. So you got Jack pretty much at what Alex was from the beginning of the show. He at 13, and Katie is going through puberty at the age of 10 or 11. But hey, here they are. They still exist. Yeah, I know. They actually went through a couple of frames of, you're becoming a woman. I was like, that's kind of random. But
oh boy, is there a special issue where she buys her first tampon?
That's kind of what it felt like it was leaning towards. But the whole issue is they're meeting up with Juliet on her campus. They're talking about, Ulysses, and they're basically talking about having read what's going on with Civil War II in the news. And then that's pretty much it. It just felt like whoever wrote this was like, hey, you know what? Remember Power Pack? They're still around, and here they are in the main universe, and they're still paying attention, but they're not really around.
Well, that's why it's nice to be a comic book creator. Occasionally you can fulfill your own nostalgia boner.
And that's pretty much what I felt was going on here. And I don't take the tone of my voice wrong. I'm not angry about this, because I was a big Power Pack fan when I was a kid. So to see them come back in this way, it's like, oh, hey, cool! You got that nostalgia vibe of seeing something very familiar from your childhood pop up out of nowhere. And so, and for it to come right after a Punisher story really surprised me.
Here's a man who murders everybody that stands on 2 legs, and here are the kids.
Yeah, there was 3 chapters in number 4 of Civil War Choosing Sides. Chapter 1 is Punisher. Chapter 2 is Power Pack. Chapter 3 is Nick Fury.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong.
Exactly.
But we've railed for about an hour, so I've fulfilled my thoughts, I think, on the series. Anybody else have any other opinions?
I found this series unfulfilling, and with a MacGuffin that with a very awful MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I thought it was a weak ending.
Yeah. I
was okay with the expositionary ending, but the actual event ending, yeah, I agree. It did not come through.
I mean, the only thing I really enjoyed was the conflict between Carol and Tony. I thought that was, if I just take it as a point of these two are grieving over the loss of a mutual friend of theirs, and they're taking opposing sides on dealing with it. I love that, but the whole aspect with, again, the MacGuffin.
Yeah. Don't hurt yourself. So, what do you think, Casey? What do you think of what we do here?
It's pretty cool.
You could probably use less penis information, but
yeah. Well, fortunately, I think Adequate Man is done with that for the year, so I think we're okay in that regards. But if you're interested, next week we have to go to a convention, but the week afterwards we actually have to read Last Stand of the Wreckers, Transformers series.
Oh God, my ex-girlfriend loves that. That's one of her favorite stories.
Okay, now I'm almost sorry I asked.
Okay,
oh my God, my ex-girlfriend used to love that show. I'm gonna go cry with some ice cream.
I wouldn't go that far. I have a complicated relationship with this woman, but she loves fucking Transformers, and one of her very favorite stories was The Last Stand of the Wreckers.
Okay,
so it'll be interesting to read it.
I read it years ago, but I remember almost nothing. So that is our next reading assignment.
Well, apparently it's a big deal.
That's what we read in a recent list. It was the #1 of Screen Rant's 15 best Transformers stories ever.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to read it.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. We invite you to roll with us again. Next week we're doing finally the last 2 issues of our Deadpool reading. We'll see if I can come up with enough decent voices to make that work. And then
not among our friends.
And then the following week, we are going to read Last Stand of the Wreckers by IDW Comics. Thank you very much. Have a great one. I am Jeremy.
Steve.
Jesse.
Casey.
Have a great one. Don't jerk and drive. Take care.
I still hate that tagline.
But it's mine.